crossing in Gaza would stay open for humanitarian aid. The two leaders speaking on Holocaust Remembrance Day. Hamas now says it accepts the framework of a new ceasefire deal. The Associated Press reporting the group's leader told mediators that in Qatar and Egypt, but there is no independent confirmation of that yet. College campuses across the U.S. still trying to manage pro-Palestinian protests. Demonstrators at Harvard demanding the school negotiate with them. The interim Harvard president responding with a warning.
He writes, the continuation of the encampment presents a significant risk to the educational environment of the university. Those who participate in or perpetuate its continuation will be referred for involuntary leave from their schools. That has some pretty broad implications for the students. They may not be able to sit for exams. They may not be able to stay on Harvard's campus in housing until reinstated.
Fox's Molly Line at Harvard. At UC San Diego, some protesters pushing through barricades hours after an encampment was cleared, walking toward police in riot gear before stepping back behind the barriers. Former President Trump held in contempt of court for a 10th time at his New York criminal trial. The judge fining him another $1,000 for a gag order violation and warning again that jail is possible for continued violations. America is listening to Fox News.
When you use Bounce dryer sheets and your clothes look amazing, it's the sheet. Less static in your life? Yeah, it's the sheet. Smelling fresher than ever? It's the sheet. Oh, so soft fabric? Ooh la la. It's the sheet. Less wrinkles on your clothes? You know it's the sheet. Bounce dryer sheets. More freshness, more softness. Less static, less wrinkles. It's the sheet.
There are more identity threats than you realize. Even if you monitor your credit, only a little personal info needs to leak out, like your social security number or password,
for you to become a victim.
LifeLock alerts you to threats you could miss. If your identity is stolen, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions, but everyone can save up to 25% off their first year with promo code NEWS. Go to lifelock.com.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
It's a couple of days of periods of rock and roll weather, but we've got a mix of clouds and sunshine this afternoon. A little break, 79. Tonight, the clouds are back. Rain and thunderstorms, some severe after midnight, 65. Tuesday, we start with showers and thunderstorms, some severe, then turning partly sunny, windy and warm, 85. More rain and thunderstorms, some severe on Wednesday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Well, there's a lot to celebrate this month. Graduations, the end of the school year approaching, barbecues, warm weather months ahead. Celebrate, though, in a clean home by calling my cleaning heroes and pros at Zero Res. They've been in my house I don't know how many times over the last decade. They always knock it out of the park, and that goes for the carpets and the ductwork. You know them maybe as the zero residue carpet cleaners that don't leave behind any of the dirt-attracting soaps and chemicals. Don't risk what the other guys do or don't do it yourself. Don't DIY because it's going to end up soaked for days and actually do more damage than good. So do it the right way with Zero Res, and right now get 3 rooms of carpet, zero resified, starting at just $129. Take $50 off your air duct cleaning package. Now, you have to mention my name or 97.1 FM Talk. You can book very easily if you call 314-474-2020 or online, ZeroResSTL.com. But make sure you mention my name or the station. Zero Res. You spell it backward or forward, it spells the same. Don't miss out on the May special with Zero Res.
If you have a problem with the IRS, believe me, it's not going away on its own. The IRS never gives up. They have endless resources, so they control the game. Well, your tax problems can end. I'm attorney Lance Drury with the Drury Law Firm, a local tax resolution firm with an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau. I've handled thousands of IRS cases over the last 15 years. So when you hire me, you won't be speaking long distance or sending money to some TV pitchman that's riddled with consumer complaints. Your first visit is completely free and confidential, and I'll tell you on the spot exactly how much it will cost. So call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120. Or go to Lance, D-R-U-R-Y, law.com. If you have IRS issues, you need a local attorney. You need me, Lance Drury.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
You've been listening to the very popular Wellness One for many years, Saturdays and Sundays on 97.1 FM Talk. We're happy to share that we've expanded the show to 4 times a week. Yes, 4 times every weekend. Saturday at 10 a.m., Saturday at 8 p.m., Sunday at 9 a.m., and Sunday at 2 p.m. It's the same great show designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you a common sense, science-based strategy for a healthy life. So join TJ and Aaron for Wellness One. Now 4 times a week on 97.1 FM Talk.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
The Annie Fry Show YouTube live chat poll of the day is sponsored by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Public
For
it.
goodness sake, Dad, keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Biden seems to be facing is enthusiasm among those core groups.
Yeah, no, that's very true. I mean, I'm headed to Georgia this coming week, and in major part what I want to do is look at the so-called Big Tent coalition that helped Biden win a state by Georgia, very tight margins, 11,000 votes. What I've already heard in so many of my interviews with people is a lackluster sense of enthusiasm, whether it's black voters, whether it's, you'd call them sort of like disaffected Republicans. There's a whole bunch of things that went right. For Biden, I would argue in 2020, it was unity in opposition to Donald Trump. To make this a referendum, sure, is what the Biden campaign wants, but it's really challenging because many voters are looking at this election as a referendum on Trump. I was just up in Pennsylvania, nonstop. I heard about the economy, and people don't feel
on Biden.
great. Yeah, exactly. On Biden. I'm sorry, referendum on Biden. And so people don't feel great about the economy now. This nostalgia for the Trump years is something that I would say about the economy nostalgia I heard from Democrats even, which was really shocking to me. Lay Democrats, remembering how good they thought their 401k was. They would say in the next breath, they're not going to vote for Trump for a variety of reasons, but that's what Joe Biden is up against.
So there you have it. This is a wild, wild story that is taking place and being exposed here. As an NPR reporter saying that there is a Trump nostalgia that is taking place. The Trump nostalgia is like an America nostalgia. The idea that when Donald Trump was president, they remember his presidency directly associated, to the words there, with their own 401ks. That's a big deal. That was from ABC this week, and that reporter there, it's the NPR White House correspondent Asma Khalid, talking about how they are shocked when they go out and talk to people. And here's the thing that I find the most interesting in that comment. Person after person after person after person is talking about the economy. Donald Trump, economy, association there, good. Biden, economy, association there, bad. And she says that everybody is saying this. It was shocking to hear it. And then she follows it up with, naturally, the next comment out of their mouth is, well, I'm not going to vote for Donald Trump. I don't believe him. Brad, I don't believe if the consistency is there to that level that an NPR White House correspondent is on ABC this morning talking about how it's shocking to this NPR reporter how frequently this is coming up, and everybody wants to vocally say, but I'm not going to vote for him.
Yeah.
I don't believe him. I think they
No,
are.
I don't either. And as a matter of fact, when you said that, I was like, oh, yeah, they're straight up lying to that reporter about that because they don't want to be perceived as the bad guy. It's kind of like they're going, man, I really wish that things like I could afford a dozen eggs and my paycheck went farther and I had extra money to do the fun stuff and I could fill up my tank and all that other stuff without like wondering if there'd be too much month at the end of the money.
Yep.
And then it's like they're back thinking about it. It was good under Trump. And then they look back and they realize who they're talking to. but I wouldn't vote for him.
Jackie on YouTube says, I don't know any. They might be that stupid. There's a risk. Listen, if you're going to the NPR, and the reporter's like, what do you think about the campaign for 2024 and who should be president? Who goes out and actually says good things about Donald Trump? You can't. Okay, listen, there are dumb people in the world. I don't think, and I repeat, we are not as stupid as the Democrats need us to be in order to reelect them. Now, if we're talking about simply people in election season, however long that is, going and voting and making sure that their ballot is cast whenever that happens, the people who are invested, the people who listen, first of all, we're talking about people who have 401ks. Unfortunately, I think a lot of people in America would consider a 401k a luxury. Is that a stretch to say that having a 401k, a retirement plan that you invest in yourself, that is not that there is, well, no, I was going to say a taxpayer-funded pension is kind of something wrong with that. I go both ways. I'm not for taxpayer-funded pensions. My husband's a public school teacher and may or may not have a pension by the time he, I was going to say graduates. By the time it's May, folks, everything is graduation right now. By the time he retires in Illinois, I don't know if the pensions will be there. Side note, if you're an Illinois taxpayer, check out what they're trying to do for the teacher retirement system, the TRS. They are trying to eliminate the second tier. There's a tier 1 and there's a tier 2. They're trying to essentially eliminate or completely remake what is called tier 2 benefits for educators in the state of Illinois because they don't think that the benefits are good enough. They created tier 2 because they knew they couldn't fund tier 1. So if they want to lump tier 2 people into tier 1, how are they going to afford all that? And if you're someone like me who's married to somebody who's expecting to get a pension because they're not allowed to pay into Social Security, like my husband is not going to collect Social Security. He's not paying into Social Security. Illinois better get their act together and make sure that they can make good on the promises they're making. And if they know that they can't make good on the promises they're making, you know it's the Democrat way to make promises you can't keep and then wave a magic wand and make the money go away or make the money appear when the time is politically expedient. But yes, to Jackie's point, there are a lot of stupid people out there. I don't think that the stupid people, these are interesting people, but I don't think if you're talking about the correlation between Donald Trump and your 401k being better, to me, that person's in play. If not already persuaded.
Yeah.
How big will the pro-voting Trump, not pro-Trump, how big will the pro-voting Trump quiet contingent be in November?
I think that'll be the largest contingent. I think you'll have let's give percentages. Of the votes received, I think he will probably about 65 to 70% of those votes that he receives will be the quiet part. We're supporting Trump, but we're not going to say it because we don't want people to say we're, literally Hitler or whatever else they say.
Man, they better not throw that phrase around right now. We'll have to start comparing notes.
Yeah.
We'll have to start digging into the very unsavory details. How pissed would you be if you went to Harvard, if you went to, was it UCLA? If you were going to Columbia and you invested in a graduate degree, in a bachelor's degree, or whatever it is you're getting from Columbia, how angry would you be that you're not going to get to walk at a graduation right now?
I would be absolutely furious. One of the highlights of my life was walking in my college graduation. I didn't realize what it would be, but to walk in, we had it, I believe, at the St. Charles Family Arena. We walked in. They had bagpipe pipers playing, Scotland the Brave. You walk in, and not only do you walk in, the doctoral students, the master's students, they already were in. They stand up, they turn around, and they're applauding you. The crowd is applauding you. It's like, hey, you guys did something really good here. And so we're standing there, and the guy next to me, because we're alphabetical, so I didn't really know him, he's looking at me, and we're kind of clapping along, and he's like, feeling the love.
Yeah.
Feeling the love.
You might say the pomp and circumstance.
Yes, it was amazing.
The whole thing. All right, listen, I went to a very good college here in the Midwest. I'm happy about it. I'm proud of my SIUE Bachelor's of Science degree in Mass Communications, TV, Radio. Very proud of it. Graduated in the summer of 2006. I could have probably been convinced to not go at that time, but graduating in the summer was a little bit different, and but it was a big spectacle, and that degree is important, and I was very proud of myself for having completed that. The amplification of doing that at Columbia, at Harvard, at another Ivy League school, that is a really big deal. And I just can't imagine being a parent who helped fund that or working hard, especially to fund it myself, and being told, no, it's just too complicated. Because that's what these universities are doing. They're canceling their commencement events because the situation is too unstable on these college campuses. What kind of damage are these universities doing to future enrollment because of how they're handling these situations at the moment, the protests at the moment? Joe Concha is going to be with us at 1:05. Always love to speak with Joe Concha. And this kind of goes into his new book, Progressively Worse, Why Today's Democrats Ain't Your Daddy's Donkeys. It's coming out in July. The Protest, Inc., which is what I refer to it as, this is an industry. That's why if I were graduating from Columbia or Harvard, which is just like a pipe dream, I've never even wanted anything like that. That's just not for me. But it is for some people. And, if you graduate with such a prestigious degree from an institution like that, that really does strike people if you're looking to get some sort of position where those particulars really do set you apart from all of the other people who have graduated from such prestigious institutions. If that was taken away from you, not because your brothers and sisters at your school felt a certain type of way, but the Biden donor dollars funded through different types of entities that have an enormous effort and interest in the destruction of America as we know it, wouldn't that make you mad? Wouldn't that just chap you to no end? Wouldn't you always look at what you missed and feel like you had somebody to blame for that? It's difficult for some people to understand that these protests are being funded politically and not because at the root these people just really care about the Gazan hostages. I'll call them that. We have actual Hamas hostages, and then the Gazan people are essentially hostages to Hamas as well because they're used as human shields. But the Fox News report that came out today, and it's funny to me that the news report is more about making fun of Politico than it is about the actual story. That you have people like George Soros, David Rockefeller Jr., they sit on the Rockefeller Brothers Fund, Susan and Nick Pritzker, they are in charge of the Hyatt. If you're staying in a hotel and you're staying in a Hyatt, Pritzker family, family members of J.B. Pritzker, they own the Hyatt Hotel Corporation, that these people are all grossly invested in funding a pro-Palestinian attitude, mentality, and chaos. They're paying for it. And there are more names that are associated with a lot of these different. I'm going to read from this Fox News report. And like I said, the Fox News report is kind of about Politico writing a story where the headline is like, we're surprised to find out that Joe Biden donors are funding the protest. And everyone's like, surprised why? What is shocking about this? They're good at this now. They have a rubric and a plan of how to go about this. Jewish Voice for Peace and If Not Now are the main organizations behind the anti-Israel protests at Columbia University, as well as other campuses, according to the outlet Politico. This is a Fox News report. They are backed by the Tides Foundation, which received a substantial amount of funding from Soros and was supported in the past by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, ding, 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 and distributes money to left-wing causes. The Rockefeller Fund donated $300,000 to the Tides Foundation in 2024, according to Politico. The Tides Foundation has given $500,000 to Jewish Voice for Peace, a far-left, ironically titled. Aren't they always ironically titled? It's like, what is the name of the organization? You can bet that's not what they're funding. Black Lives Matter? That's not what they ended up investing all of that money that was raised for people who truly believe, and rightfully so, that of course Black Lives Matter. But then they take the money leaning into the emotions and the hearts on the sleeves of Americans across the country and use it for other things. Jewish Voice for Peace, a far-left anti-Zionist organization that blamed the October 7th attacks on Israel and the U.S. rather than Hamas. The Gates Foundation has disputed the Politico report. Spokesperson said the Gates Foundation has no active grants to the Tides Foundation, has never given grants to the Jewish Voice for Peace, and if not now, organizations. It also said the Gates Foundation is not donated to President Biden. According to Fox News, the Politico report headlined, pro-Palestinian protesters are backed by a surprising source, Biden's biggest donors. It was panned online Sunday for finally acknowledging what others had reported months ago. We have seen this play before. We know how this play ends. We know where the play is funded, and we are not surprised by it. I do think that if you want to try to look for the bright side here, that it's good to see Politico reporting on this, even if they think that they're the first to the party and they get there and the party's actually winding down. That's why there's not many people there than maybe if they would have been there in the beginning of this reporting. Donald Trump is going to pound his fist on the table about where these investments are being made in these types of protests and where the money is coming from and what the special interest might be in funding this type of America-hating sort of entity. But, you know, it's important for people like Donald Trump to be able to speak his mind and to be able to talk out about these types of things when we know that he's being gagged in a courtroom to talk about the lawfare that is against him. I was happy to see him come out and talk about these Biden donors, the Gateses, the Soroses, the Rockefeller organization, these people who seem to be invested in things that hate America. It's important to have a voice on it, and it's important to use your voice. So we're definitely going to do that here on the Annie Frey Show. Let's take a quick break. Hogan Gidley is going to join us when we come back. You know him as the America First Policy Institute's senior advisor for communication, a former national press secretary for the Trump campaign as well. Where are these campaigns right now? If Hogan Gidley were to say, this is where the Biden campaign is and this is where the Trump campaign is, they're fighting on much, much different battlefields. But the prize is ultimately the same. We'll see what Hogan Gidley thinks about where America is headed into November, what issues will be top of mind for American voters going into the ballot box. And we're asking you the same question on the Annie Frey YouTube poll. What will the 2024 election-dominating issue be? Is it the economy? Is it foreign policy? Is it abortion? Or is it corruption? Need to know what you think? Leave a comment. We might read it on air. Hogan Gidley on the Annie Frey Show, next.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
And all the roads we have to walk are winding.
Issued by Southern Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's business cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp's software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp for free. Just go to ramp.com/free. Ramp.com/free. RAMP.com/free.
What's that I smell? Can I search your card? You know where this is going. What's in that cigar? I know my rights and you do too. I want to talk to my lawyer, not you.
This is Mike Carter, founder of DidYouBlow.com and DWISTL.com. DWIs are complicated matters, and at DWISTL.com, we have 10 attorneys and paralegals working on every DWI matter.
I want my phone call.com.
So put DWISTL.com or DidYouBlow.com in your phone's contacts right now at 314-895-4040.
I just text 895-4040.
Again, go to DWISTL.com or DidYouBlow.com.
Imagine having all the money you need for retirement, all the income, every month, guaranteed. That's Secure Future Investor, an indexed annuity tied to growth in the stock market, but without any risk of loss ever. It's guaranteed money for life income, no matter how long you live. Call 888-509-2228. 888-509-2228. Sponsored by GP Agency, Inc., Raleigh, North Carolina. Licensed in all states. Performance may vary. Consult with your financial professional before making an investment decision.
Retired or retiring soon? How much money do you need to live comfortably? Retirement Planners of America is here for you. Would you like to have financial peace of mind? Here's how. Step 1. Find out the amount of money you'll need to retire. Step 2. Have a plan to get there. Step 3. Make sure that plan can take advantage of market gains but protect you from market losses. Discover how to do all three with a free consultation at 800-508-6108. That's 800-508-6108.
All investments involve risk, including losses. Past performance does not guarantee future results.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure, it's just not fun, always walking around with a headache.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of St. Louis Sinus Centers called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, congestion? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with St. Louis Sinus Centers. Call 314-332-2885. 314-332-2885. That's 314-332-2885.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
97.1 FM Talk. You're here because everybody needs an oasis. St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk.
I'm at a party I don't wanna be at, and I don't ever wear a suit and tie. Wondering if I can sneak out the back. Nobody's even looking me in my eyes. When you take my hand, finish my drink, say, shall we dance? Hell yeah. You know I love you, did I ever tell you? You make it better like that. Don't think I fit in at this party. Everyone's got so much to say. Yeah, I always feel like I'm nobody. Who wants to fit in anyway? 'Cause I don't care when I'm with my baby, yeah. All the bad things disappear.
Donald Trump is he's not gonna wither under these attacks. It's only gonna make him stronger. And the polling demonstrates this. We're now leading in all of the battleground states because the people are seeing that Donald Trump has the strength to stand against the radical left, and America remembers what his presidency was all about.
That's Congressman Byron Donalds, and he's saying that these attacks are, I guess, essentially making Donald Trump stronger. And we were watching today, reports are coming out about there is a similarity between people who are funding the Biden campaign and funding these protests and sowing chaos and disarray across the country in favor of a very anti-American foreign policy position. So while Donald Trump is in the courtroom and Joe Biden is God knows where, how are these campaigns shaping up? Polls talk, and everybody uses polls to assess the situation based on what benefits them the most. But we wanted to go to get an expert opinion on this. So we brought Hogan Gidley back on the show. He's America First Policy Institute Senior Advisor for Communications, also the former National Press Secretary for the Trump campaign. Hogan, welcome back to the show. We're really grateful to have you here today.
Hey, Annie, I appreciate it. Thanks so much for the time.
Of course. From your assessment of where you sit at the America First Policy Institute and your long storied history in working in American politics, how do you sum up the Trump campaign versus the Biden campaign right now?
Well, one has the ability to point to successes from the policy that were implemented. Donald Trump can say the economy was better. He can say the border was secure. He can say crime was low. He can say there weren't wars breaking out all over the world. He can say campuses, college campuses, hadn't devolved into chaos. Joe Biden can't say any of that stuff. He'll, ramble on about J6, or he'll say something about democracy's threatened, or he'll say something about his, the hair on his legs and corn pop and being in jail with Nelson Mandela. He'll say that, but he has no real policy successes to point to. That's the real difference. And, we said for a long time that Joe Biden wouldn't be able to run a campaign from the basement. Well, he was able to do that successfully in 2020, in large part because the media didn't care. They supported Joe Biden, so they wanted to protect him as best they could. But now he's president, and he's got a body of work to point to. And even when he's out for moments at a time, he's surrounded, of course, by all of his staffers walking to Marine One so that, it doesn't look like he's that decrepit. And then he goes to the podium with the questions, with the answers, with the reporters to call on right in front of him, and he still can't get through it. So right now I see a difference in these campaigns. One is about success for the American people. The other one is about the failures that really went to cripple a great nation like America.
Yeah. I think it's really key to look at where Donald Trump is and where Joe Biden is and focus on which one is really paying attention to the actual lived experience of the American people. Well, right here in the Midwest, and people care about pretty simple things: the economy, being able to afford the bills that they have to pay, and food on the table, and gas in the car, and so on and so forth. And, I feel Donald Trump's a bit hamstrung in court to be able to address these issues. Joe Biden, he's got the bully pulpit. He could do what he wants when he wants. And every time I hear him talking, he's asking for more from the American people than he is talking about getting out of their way so that they can thrive.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think that's the issue, too, that a lot of people understand fundamentally is when they see Donald Trump go to a bodega or to a Chick-fil-A or whatever, in the brief moments he has away from court, that, of course, is being orchestrated by the left and many would argue the Biden administration itself. He connects with people in a way that Joe Biden could never do, has never done. I think that's a significant difference. And when you see people in the black community coming out and saying Donald Trump gets me, he understands some of the issues we have, you saw an expansion of Donald Trump's support from black community, from the Hispanic community. I mean, polling shows he's winning Hispanics outright at this point in time. Remember, when Donald Trump was saying we got to build a wall, we have to have legal immigration, not illegal immigration, the left just vilified him for that. Well, turns out people from the Hispanic community don't like illegal immigration either.
Right.
They don't like their neighborhoods filled with criminals from other countries, whether it be their home country or not. So this whole thing has really turned on its head because Donald Trump just kind of came up to politics, and people say, he destroyed all this. I kind of disagree. I think Donald Trump wasn't a murderer. He was a coroner. He walked up and said, this is all a disaster. You guys are jokes. Let me tell you what's wrong with it. Here's how I'm going to fix it. And he did it.
Yeah.
And I think that's rare in politics.
It's weird to me that there's some sort of kind of legend status that I'm worried that Donald Trump is going to not peak at the right time, because I see all these man on the street interviews. Fox does a lot of them. And of course, it's Fox, so I take that with a grain of salt. But I just played in the last segment this NPR White House correspondent. Her last name is Khalid, and she was talking about how she was shocked to hear the nostalgia that people have about when Donald Trump was in office. And I mean, I've never in my lifetime watched an incumbent with a record compete against an incumbent with a record. The Joe Biden record, I'm trying to think of anything positive it's done for the American people that they can put their finger on right now.
Well, that's a great point, too, because the fact is you can't. And you can struggle to find it. And Joe Biden can say, look, the economy is not – we created 15 million jobs. You didn't create anything. You just opened the country back up. And by the way, you did that so bad and so late, we'd have been humming along. It was something we lamented in the Trump administration when we walked out the door going, man, this economy was so hot. All he's got to do is come in and flip the switch back to on, and he's going to take all the benefit of this. He couldn't even do that right.
He never did it.
I mean,
yeah,
never did it. Never did it. Still talking about vaccines, still talking about mandates and things like that. And also, I think with the emergence of new news sources, not just radio like yourself, conservative radio has been kind of on an upward trajectory ever since Limbaugh started. but other outlets as well that kind of expose what's going on, whether it be Turning Point or Daily Wire or James O'Keefe or anybody like that, kind of showing peeks behind the curtain. You realize just how weaponized the government is against people it disagrees with politically.
Yeah.
You realize the collusion between the government and big tech to censor and silence Americans just because they had a different opinion. So I think that's a big issue a lot of people are looking at. In these court cases we were talking about off the top, I mean, 64% of people, I believe, somewhere there, 67% believe they're politically motivated, and 56% of this country believes Joe Biden has something to do with it.
Yeah, that's
And
amazing.
That's because they do. It's so obvious. I mean, when your top person at DOJ, your third person is one of the prosecutors in the case against Trump, and then you find out all of these times that the prosecutors went to the White House and talked to them, and then it's obvious. And so the American people have a fundamental propensity to appreciate, like, and gravitate towards fairness.
Yeah.
And if they feel like someone's being treated unfairly, whether they like them or not, they're going to stand on the side of fairness. Not to mention the fact, and I'll say this lastly, Donald Trump used to say things like, if they'll come after me, they'll come after you. Well, they're already coming after Trump, and they're coming after you too. These protesters on these campuses, I mean, forget the violence and the vandalism and all that for just a minute. Forget the code of conduct at the schools they're violating. The administration won't even come out and condemn their messaging, that they're pro-terrorist, pro-Hamas, anti-American. And when you have a handful of people sit outside of an abortion clinic and not block anybody from going in, just sit there and sing and pray, they go to jail?
Yeah.
They're not burning anything. They're not preventing you from going in and killing your baby if you want to. And somehow they go to jail. It's insane, and the people see it at every level.
Yeah, you're so spot on with that. The two-tier system that we have in our country, we kept hearing, no one is above the law, no one is above the law. And while they were doing that, they were delineating who would be above the law and how they were going to manage and change the law in order to get their way. Hogan Gidley with us right now. He's the former principal deputy press secretary for the Trump administration and America First Policy Institute's senior advisor for communications. So, Hogan, I want to hone into your communications expertise. It's the biggest challenge you'll ever face. You got to make Joe Biden look like he knows what he's doing as the president of the United States and manage communications for him. How would you, compared to what they're doing right now, because I think that this is good, smart politics on the Republican side to anticipate how they're going to fluff up Joe Biden in any way they can. What could they do with this president of the United States between now and Election Day to put him in his best possible light?
Well, far be it for me to try to get into the mind of a Democrat and tell them what they should do, because Lord knows I just have them change all their policies.
True.
But I'll do one either better, or I don't know if it's better, but different. I'll tell you what they shouldn't do that they do right now. That is the most offensive, most egregious, biggest slap in the face you can think of. What they consistently tell the American people is, you're stupid in this way. You're not paying more for gas and groceries. And by the way, if you do, that's good. That's a good thing. Oh, come on. Crime's not a big deal. Come on. Right? College campuses, this is about free. Come on. You're trying to tell an American citizen what they feel and what they experience every day isn't real, is one of the most offensive, most egregious things a politician can do. And no, you're not paying more for gas and for groceries. I mean, it's down 4%. It's down 5%. Right, but you made it higher than it ever was before. The American people feel that every day, and it completely blows my mind that the Democrats out there, instead of saying the policy's wrong, they just double down and say it's the messaging. We're not doing a good job of messaging it. That's where I think they're really missing it.
Hogan, I think that that's such an important and interesting point, because they keep doing it. The head patty thing, that has been their MO for the entirety of the time that they've been in office. But they've been able to get away with it in the past because everything they were saying was subsidized and increased by a media that was willing the whole time, and, even more than willing, a little too willing to go along with it. I feel like the media has had to put out, that's the NPR, not White House correspondent that I was talking about before. It was like, people are shocked that they have nostalgia for the Trump days. It's getting too difficult for the media to present the flowery look, the rose-colored glasses look of the Biden administration, where they're not really attacking him, but they can't hold it up as more. And it kind of exposes the whole ruse for the Biden administration. I don't think they're going to be able to get away with this through November. I feel like they're going to have to change the game plan if they actually are trying to win re-election in a few months.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't necessarily agree, only because they'll have all the major, avenues of power and influence. They'll have big tech, they'll have Hollywood, they'll have the mainstream media, they'll have colleges and universities, as we now see too. So I don't know, because they'll circle the wagons around their point of view and around their preferred candidate, which of course is Joe Biden. But interestingly enough, when you see shows like MSNBC or CNN say, yeah, these court cases, this Alvin Bragg thing, there's no crime. They're not alleging a crime. My gosh, they're not proving any involvement with Trump here. In fact, this case is kind of unraveling, which is interesting. And as you pointed, kind of gives up the game, because what they told us when it came out was devastating, bombshell. This is going to get him. And then you realize, instead of having kind of an eye that's more skeptical, they just went all in on it. And now they're seeing it play out. And, we know it's politically motivated, as I said, but my gosh, now even those people are going, hey, we were told this was going to be a thing. It doesn't look like a thing.
Yeah.
Right. And so they are the ones that kind of look left holding the bag. And I think a lot of journalists kind of are sick and tired of being left holding the bag by an administration that tells them, just keep doing this. I promise it'll come along. It'll be fine. It never is. And the journalist is the one kind of looking stupid on the whole deal, because there's a reason the popularity of, the mainstream media is somewhere between Congress and COVID. It's because they continue to lie to us on a daily basis and play the game that's rigged against us and get exposed for doing so.
Yeah. That's so spot on. I don't think they're going to be able to pull it off the way they've been doing it before, but I think they're going to do something else to try it. And I think it's going to be really embarrassing and funny at the same time to watch. But we'll have our eyes squarely on it. Hogan Gidley, thank you for being with us. We appreciate you and your time always. We look forward to having you back again soon.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye. He is the America First Policy Institute Senior Advisor for Communications, worked very closely with the Trump administration and the Trump campaign. Hogan Gidley on Twitter at @JHoganGidley. Quick break. When we come back, Wiggins America. Everything we missed over the weekend, Ryan Wiggins will set up for us to cover here the next 15 minutes. Joe Concha is going to join us at 105. And my understanding, Brad, is we're going to talk to him about the protests and where these protests are coming from.
Yeah.
Did college students across the country all of a sudden become our greatest social justice warriors? Or did they get a payday? I don't know. Joe Concha at 105. Ryan Wiggins next.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
All right, bugs. I don't like them. You don't like them. You don't want them in your house. Certainly outside, okay, that's their domain. But inside, Point Pest Control is there to make sure that your domain stays bug-free. Very important to me and my family, especially when I saw a few spiders just like really fast. And, it's like if you see 2 spiders within 5 minutes, don't tell me, don't message me. I don't want to know how many were in my house, but I wanted them all gone. And I needed Point Pest Control to come do it. And they did. They came to my home in November and they did their thing. They sprayed. I don't know. They kept being like, okay, can we explain to you what we did? I'm like, no, I don't want to know what you did. I just want to never see spiders again. And they told me where they were putting some traps in case, and like, you can check them to see. I'm like, I don't want to check them. You can come back and check them. Maybe my husband can. And guess what? There have been no bugs. I have to like say this in order to be completely honest. We had this like little dusty spider thing that came down from our light over our table, but it was like the kind that was the size of a dust bunny. And it was right by our back door. So I did see that. But we got rid of that one ourselves. I didn't call Point Pest Control for that one. I'm not that crazy. I trust them with my home, with my basement to use whatever they're using throughout the course of the house, where my dog can still be there and be safe. It's completely okay to be around children and pets. And they came into my home and they took care of my problem, and I quarterly have them back. And I am grateful that they are there because I don't have that problem anymore. 636-798-0023. 636-798-0023. It's Point with an E, pointpestcontrol.com.
Mike Carter here. Too often we lose sight of how fortunate we are to live in Missouri. When I travel out of state on business, people say, Mike Carter, what's so special about Missouri? Well, let's start with the mighty Mississippi and Missouri rivers traversing the state. They were the superhighways of the day, used by French fur trappers and traders. Later, American settlers like Daniel Boone and waves of pioneers drove their teams and wagons along the Boonslick Trail he blazed. Carter Law Offices, right now founded by me, Mike Carter, started and is on Boonslick Trail, near where those intrepid settlers crossed the Missouri to harness the land. Rich soils and generations of farm families like my own grandparents made Missouri the breadbasket of America. Drive a few minutes outside our cities and towns, and you'll find yourself passing miles and miles of undulating wheat and corn, farms and ranches that feed our nation. I'm Mike Carter, and I'm proud to live and work in the Show Me State, a place God blessed just a little bit more. Go to MikeCarter.com to see more about our great state of Missouri.
Are you ready to smell better naked? I'm Dr. Shannon Klingman, the OBGYN creator of Lumi, the whole body deodorant that's clinically proven to control odor for 72 hours on pits, feet, privates, and beyond. It's pH optimized to safely and effectively control odor anywhere you have it, but wish you didn't. Plus, it's proven to work better than a shower with soap alone. Whether you shower twice a day or 3 times a week, Lumi works better. And who doesn't want zero body odor? With over 200,000 5-star reviews, I'm so sure you're going to love it, or you can return it for free.
There's a special offer for listeners. Use code 500 and get 15% off your first purchase with code 500, like the Lumi Starter Pack, Acidified Body Wash, or new Lumi Plus Sweat Control. That's LUMEdeodorant.com, code 500 for 15% off your first purchase. Love it or return it for free. That's LUMEdeodorant.com, code 500 to save 15% today.
If you're looking for a senior living community, check out Hampton Manor of Wentzville. Mark Cox here. It is resort-style living without the resort-style price. Take Highway 70 to the Lake St. Louis exit. Schedule your appointment today at wentzvilleassistedliving.com. Mom deserves the best this Mother's Day. Let Grill Master Tony do the cooking. Mark Cox here. Get his sliced brisket in au jus sauce, his roasted sesame and garlic baby potatoes, the sautéed green beans, the smoked Gouda, mac and cheese, and even French bread from the hill. Orders are due by May 8th for Mother's Day. He does corporate lunches as well, with hot dogs, hamburgers, chips, or his delicious brisket. Order online today. It's grillmastertony.com.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
This is Ryan Wiggins from Wiggins America and the Annie Fry Show, and I was born with CF. May is Cystic Fibrosis Awareness Month, so I'm glad to assist in helping find a cure for this terrible disease. Register to walk in the Gateway Chapter Great Strides on May 18th at 971talk.com/care.
That's great, it starts with an earthquake, birds and snakes, an airplane, and Lenny Bruce is not afraid. I have a hurricane, listen to yourself, churn world serves its own needs, dummy serve your own needs, feed it up and ox, speak, grunt, no strength, the ladder starts to clatter with fear, fight down, high wire and a fire, represented 7 games in a government for hire and a combat site. Left to us are coming in a hurry with the furies breathing down your neck. My team reporters baffle Trump, Kevin
Wiggins!
Oh!
Monday Roundup! Yeah! This here's the wildest ride in the wilderness! Always is. It's Monday. Welcome to it. This is the Monday Roundup, so basically everything that you missed over the weekend. We'll start with what I find to be the most interesting story that I found anyway. Couple is... Okay, I'm going to start with their headline because I love the way this reads.
Getting lost.
Well, house this for creepy because it's a creepy house. Millennial couple, Courtney and Matt, got a letter addressed purchaser, and they opened it and explained that the last surviving member was writing this letter to them, and they owned this house, and she says, well, I grew up in it. I would like to tell you about the secret rooms and a few things you may not have been told when you bought the house. So they revealed this, of course, on a TikTok video, which has been viewed millions of times now. They first unearthed a secret liquor cabinet above the fireplace above their front parlor. So it looks like a mirror. They open it up. It's got all this old 70s and 80s liquor in it. Next, they followed the letter to a secret room found in the bathroom and revealed that it's really just more of a crawl space than a room, but they did find one full room off of the bathroom with a tiny locked door as the only way into the room. My question for you guys is, if you ever got a letter like this, is it exciting? Is it creepy? Do you then not trust the house, or is your house cooler at that point? What do you think?
I think if your house has hidden rooms and stuff like that, it's cooler. I do think it's cooler. I don't trust the letter. And I actually don't trust that this is actually genuine and real and authentic. I think this is just something they said. We got this letter from this person that said, hey, I'm the last generation of my family who used to live in that house. I think they found all these things and said, you know what we should do is we should make a TikTok video.
Let's make a letter up.
Yeah,
it's possible.
That's
possible.
my thoughts. So.
But hidden rooms. I mean, if you find hidden rooms in your house, it's cool, right? It's not just creepy. It's cool.
What's cool about it?
Just the fact that when you were 8 years old, you thought basically every house in the world needs to have secret rooms because that would be cool, unlike a spy book.
But you also need a zip line to your best friend's house who lives next door, or a tunnel.
Also true.
I don't think I'm qualified for this conversation. I think it's creepy.
All right, it's creepy then. When it comes to dating, she means business. A New York woman has proven to be the ultimate wing woman after creating hundreds of dating business cards for her single friend, which she said is a great icebreaker. Of course, there's a video element to this too, because she put it on TikTok and it's been viewed 500,000 times. But the printed...
Are you big on TikTok?
No, I just keep seeing stuff that I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool.
He's just got an average size account.
The printed personals include a picture of her best friend, who has opted to remain anonymous, a QR code that links to all of her social media, and a bio about her friend. Now, if you're the friend, is this something that you would consider to be pretty cool? Or is your friend
Wait,
invading?
is the friend, what is the friend?
The friend, just friends of this girl who made all these business cards. So she made all these business cards basically saying, hey, I like you. They're conversation starters for dates. Is that a good idea? Is it too intrusive from the friend?
I don't really feel like, let's see. This September, I'll have been married for 17 years. The internet experience that my relationship had before I got married was that we would chat over instant messenger. I don't even know if my husband was on Facebook. So I just feel like I'm too far out of the game to be like, oh, business cards with QR codes that are connected to all of my social media to hand out to people seems psycho, but it does.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe that's the way you do it. I think that if you said to young people today, like, so what you're going to do is you're going to get a couple friends together and you're going to go into a bar and men are going to approach you. You're going to know nothing about them. You're going to have to determine, A, if you're attracted to them while they are 2 or 3 drinks in. B, if you want to spend other time with them, potentially just the two of you on a date later when you do know nothing about them. And they're going to give you your first impression face to face. And that's how you're going to decide if they get another date. That sounds creepy too.
I try to put myself in both scenarios here. If I were receiving the card, I would think it's a little unorthodox, but it's cool.
What's unorthodox about it?
Just that I've never seen that happen. You know, you'd be like, oh, okay. And she's approaching me. I think that's okay.
But there are literal dating marketplaces that exist since we were of the age and time in life when dating is happening.
Right.
So, like, if there are marketplaces where you can get dates, why not business cards?
Yeah, which is why I'm like, yeah, I think I like the idea. If I were also the one giving the business card, I think that's kind of a cool thing to do. I'm kind of for it in both scenarios.
I'm not dating.
Well, neither am I, but
if God forbid I'm ever single again, I will just die an old maid.
Or get dating business cards.
Probably not.
Maybe. Just maybe.
I can't express to you how quickly I would be disinterested to a guy who gave me his dating business card.
Oh, man, that's a shame, because if I am ever single, I am going to do that.
To me?
No.
Everyone was thinking it.
No, but hey, I'm not going to be super discriminate about it either. These things are going to be all over the place.
I love how you're like, I'm going to hand
Brian's
him
gonna
out.
go up to a bar, just
Brian's
sling
like,
him down there.
I will hand him out to every woman except you, Annie.
Yeah. It doesn't really matter. My standards aren't high. I should not say that.
This is getting
I'm
worse.
just not say that. I'm married
Still
to a wonderful woman who I had very high standards. She had to meet those. I don't even know if I'm saying the right thing now.
No, you should go to the next story.
Next story. Emotional support animal registrations in the United States reached 115,000 last year by one industry group's count. And in the eyes of a reptile rescuer named Joy Henney, there's only one, and his name is Wally Gator. Now, and the news story is, Wally has gone missing.
Oh, no.
The alligator?
The alligator
Must
is
have
missing.
found someone else to support or eat.
So I guess he was able to take this alligator cross country because he's from Pennsylvania, but he was visiting someone in Georgia and put him in a pen, and Wally Gator escaped the pen, and the search is still on. So this alligator is just far from home, and the owner says he's
Maybe
lovable.
not. Maybe it's hiding in a secret room,
Possibly.
waiting to kill its owner.
And that's exactly
Which is what happens with secret rooms.
That's the only reason to not have a secret room is if it's full of alligators. Any other scenario, they're cool. The owner says, quote, he's just lovable. He sleeps with me, steals my pillows, steals my blankets. He's awesome.
He
Sleeping with
left.
an alligator.
The alligator left.
Yeah. Maybe he got a blanket and was like, I'm out.
Maybe the alligator's out handing out business cards for
Maybe.
new owners.
Mixing all three together.
Joe Concha on the funded protests when we come back.
Hello, Mike Carter here. I wonder if you knew that after the purchase of the Louisiana Territory in 1804, a formal three-flag ceremony was held in St. Louis to mark the transfer. The Spanish flag lowered and the French tricolor raised. That in turn was lowered the next day and the flag of the young Republic of the United States stood tall. I'm Mike Carter of Carter Law Offices here, and at that moment the people living here went from being subjects to being citizens of a great free nation. Jump ahead 220 years to what we have become, and over 6 million men, women, and children now call Missouri home. Our largest cities are an economic powerhouse, and our small towns and family farms remain the heart of the nation. A friend wrote me one time at Carter Law Offices, "Hey Mike Carter, why don't Missouri residents show their pride by flying our state flag more often like the folks in Texas?" I was like, that's a really great idea. And I was thinking, maybe anybody who's listening to this, if you want to send me an email at mike@carterlegal.com with your name and address if you're okay doing so, and I'll send you a free state flag, and you can hang it out on your front porch and show everybody you're as proud of Missouri as I am.
When you're shopping for a home in Illinois, get Jen Teskey. Call her up right now, 618-541-1010. She's with RE/MAX Alliance. She's the best. The Illinois side of the river, the whole market for buying and selling real estate. Jen Teskey is sought after, and she is waiting for your phone call, your text message to start that conversation. 618-541-1010. One thing that she does that I like to highlight every once in a while because it's very unique. There are very few realtors who go through and get this type of certification, but it's a very important one. And you yourself might know somebody who's going through a divorce in the state of Illinois who needs exactly the service that Jen has to offer. She has a certification in divorce real estate. She's specially trained to assist attorneys and the divorce clients navigate those exceptional challenges of selling a home during a divorce. If this is you, if this is someone you know and love, Jen Teskey is going to be a godsend when it comes to solving that issue or for your buying and selling of a home. Jen Teskey, 618-541-1010, jenteskeyhomes.com.
Hey guys, Glover here with my very, very good friend, Dr. Kathy Maupin at BioBalanceHealth.com. If you have reached that certain age and you're just not feeling very well and nothing's working the way it used to work, go see Dr. Kathy. She is not only a medical doctor, she is a patient of this bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. It absolutely works. It's a long-term solution. She is an artist when it comes to helping you with your hormones. BioBalanceHealth.com for Dr. Kathy Maupin.
Whether this is her first Mother's Day or her 40th, she deserves more. Shop tons of stunning on-trend jewelry for every budget at Diamonds Direct. Diamond fashion jewelry, beautiful birthstones, everyday pearls starting at just $200. Commemorate the real loves of her life with a gorgeous pendant featuring the birthstone of the one who made her mom. This Mother's Day, Diamonds Direct is everything you need to say thank you. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. Online at diamondsdirect.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Disagreement over a possible deal. Elisa Brady, Fox News. Hamas is claiming it has agreed to a ceasefire deal in Gaza, accepting an Egyptian-Qatari proposal to pause fighting. There's no official response yet from Israel or the U.S.
The announcement comes as tens of thousands of Palestinians were told to evacuate parts of Rafah, signaling a start to a long-planned ground operation by Israeli forces in southern Gaza. Top administration officials have shuttled back and forth to the region, trying to secure a deal that would include the release of hostages still held by Hamas.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House, where President Biden spoke by phone with Israel's prime minister earlier today and is set to meet in person with Jordan's king. One Israeli official says Hamas agreed to a softened version of an Egyptian proposal with far-reaching conclusions Israel could not accept, also suggesting to Reuters the Hamas announcement could be a ruse intended to make Israel look like the side refusing a deal. State Department spokesman Matthew Miller moments ago not speculating on what's in it.
Until we've been able to go through it in detail and come to a full understanding and discuss it with our partners.
He says the top U.S. priority remains a ceasefire deal that will lead to a hostage release. The University of Chicago says talks with pro-Palestinian protesters are suspended and that protester demands were inconsistent with the university's principles.
Now, a group of professors calling themselves Faculty for Justice in Palestine are making threats of their own.
We will protect the safety of our students if the administration attempts to violently remove them, even if that means arrest and detention.
Faculty members' demands including barring police from campus. This after Chicago police had to break up protests at DePaul University on Sunday.
Fox's Jeff Manasso, Harvard and George Washington University calling for encampments to end. Police making arrests earlier today at UC San Diego. America is listening to Fox News.
When you use Bounce dryer sheets and your clothes look amazing, it's the sheet. Less static in your life? Yeah, it's the sheet. Smelling fresher than ever? It's the sheet. Oh, so soft fabric? Ooh la la. It's the sheet. Less wrinkles on your clothes? You know it's the sheet. Bounce dryer sheets. More freshness, more softness. Less static, less wrinkles. It's the sheet.
There are more identity threats than you realize. Even if you monitor your credit, only a little personal info needs to leak out, like your social security number or password.
Or you to become a victim.
LifeLock alerts you to threats you could miss. If your identity is stolen, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions, but everyone can save up to 25% off their first year with promo code NEWS. Go to lifelock.com.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
It's a couple of days of periods of rock and roll weather, but we've got a mix of clouds and sunshine this afternoon, a little break, 79. Tonight, the clouds are back, rain and thunderstorms, some severe after midnight, 65. Tuesday, we start with showers and thunderstorms, some severe, then turning partly sunny, windy and warm, 85. More rain and thunderstorms, some severe on Wednesday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
This is Ryan Wiggins from Wiggins America and the Annie Fry Show, and I was born with CF. May is Cystic Fibrosis Awareness Month, so I'm glad to assist in helping find a cure for this terrible disease. Register to walk in the Gateway Chapter Great Strides on May 18th at 971talk.com/care.
Well, it's May, and the Diamond Shop has you covered, and if you haven't gotten something for Mom yet, Just trust me on this. When you walk into the diamond shop, everything is beautiful. You can't make a wrong decision, but they will help you make the absolute home run decision for mom, for grandma, for the wife. Yes, people, I'm talking to you. Just because she's not your mom doesn't mean you're not responsible for securing the thing for the littles that she's taking care of all the time, along with you, of course. If you're shopping for something for Mother's Day and you want to make this Mother's Day exceptionally special, when you go to the Diamond Shop online at thediamondshop.net, you are going to be able to become a VIP. You're going to get access to extra savings when you're a VIP at the Diamond Shop. They're in Clayton, and the store is beautiful, but they've been in St. Louis since 1910. This family-owned and operated jewelry shop will help usher you through from the very beginning of walking in to walking out with something stunning. They can do custom jewelry. They have beautiful diamond stud earrings, maybe some colored stones and a necklace to represent some birthstones. They have a Mother's Day sale going on right now. 40% off all in-stock jewelry, and you'll get a VIP free mom heart pendant with your jewelry purchase when you go in and shop today. Go this weekend. Go soon, because Mother's Day is upon us, and you don't want to be left without that beautiful red bag. Find them online at thediamondshop.net.
When you get nachos, tacos, empanadas, spicy queso with jalapenos, Pepto-Bismol's there. Pepto-Bismol provides fast, effective relief from nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, and diarrhea. All the things that can happen unexpectedly on vacation. So before you travel, pack the Pepto. Pepto-Bismol.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of
Tony La Russa here. Has your loss of energy and weight gain thrown you a curveball in your relationship? If so, go see my friends over at Victory Men's Health. Discreet, first-class professionals will help you hit those curves out of the park. VictoryMen'sHealth.com. That's VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
You've been listening to the very popular Wellness One for many years, Saturdays and Sundays on 97.1 FM Talk. We're happy to share that we've expanded the show to 4 times a week. Yes, 4 times every weekend. Saturday at 10 a.m., Saturday at 8 p.m., Sunday at 9 a.m., and Sunday at 2 p.m. It's the same great show designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you a common sense, science-based strategy for a healthy life. So join TJ and Aaron for Wellness One. Now 4 times a week on 97.1 FM Talk.
We all have someone we love, like the favorite lyric in our favorite song. You can't imagine life without them. So tell them today, I love you. Get screened. It could help save their life. Visit cancer.org/getscreened to learn more.
The Annie Fry Show YouTube live chat poll of the day is sponsored by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio. I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Now, it just came out, Columbia just canceled their commencement. Axios. Columbia just canceled their commencement. That shouldn't happen. And it also came out that the protesters, many of the protesters, are backed by Biden's donors.
So there seems to be some congruency between people who are interested in Joe Biden winning re-election and staying the president and people who are interested in the chaos that's being sown across college campuses throughout the country. Imagine going to Columbia and not having a commencement because of these yahoos. It's ridiculous. Let's ask our friend Joe Concha what he thinks about it. He's a Fox News contributor, and his new book is coming out. Joe, can I mention your book? We can talk about it right now.
Oh, all right.
Will you allow me to talk about Progressively Worse, Why Today's Democrats Ain't Your Daddy's these donkeys? If not, I won't mention it, I promise.
Nope. I think we already passed that exit, right?
Okay.
So.
Well, what is it about these Democrats that we're seeing at these college? I mean, to me, it seems like some of their very important special interests are starting to conflict with one another, and Biden's got to sort it out.
Yeah, this is Biden's Vietnam right now. I believe Bernie Sanders is the first person to make that comparison, and I do not disagree with the Vermont senator, because you have on college campuses now chaos, anti-Semitism, and the president stayed silent for, 9 days until they finally put him out there to do a 3-minute statement that didn't tell us anything about anything, as per usual, because he's so worried about losing voters in places like Michigan, where there's a heavy Arab Muslim population. He's worried about losing young voters, the kind of people that you see in these protests at places like Columbia and UCLA. And if the Democratic National Convention, which, by the way, Andy, who is the genius that said, we should have the convention in Chicago? That city, nothing could go wrong there, right?
Well, yeah, I'm an Illinois resident, but a downstater, which I probably liken quite a bit to those upstater New Yorkers who go by the way of NYC all the time. You feel like it's safe because it's not going to go red anytime soon. But the juxtaposition of Chicago to Wisconsin, Michigan, those states that you were just mentioning, and the city's just gone to hell in a handbasket under the unchecked Democrat policies. Whatever they want to do, they can do, and it's been done there. And that convention is going to be something to watch for sure.
It's going to completely overshadow whatever message Democrats are trying to get out, Joe Biden's trying to get out during all those speeches, because I've been reading up a lot and watching some stuff on 1968 when the last time Democrats had their convention in Chicago, and that was at the height of war protests across this country. And what it did, from what I've read, because I wasn't alive at that time, nor was you, was Richard Nixon was seen as the law and order candidate. And here's the irony, okay? Joe Biden ran in 2020 on returning the country from the chaos surrounding Trump, uniting the country, and bringing us back to normalcy. Now Donald Trump in 2024 is running on saving the country from Joe Biden's chaos. It's all self-inflicted, by the way. And he is seen as the law and order candidate, not just with campuses, not just with cities, but with the border as well. So I think that's going to be a defining moment in this race where people are going to look at what's going on in Chicago, where it will be complete and utter chaos on our screens. And they're going to say, enough of this. I don't like the way the economy is going. Crime's out of control. The border's wide open. We're in 2 wars overseas. Everything seems increasingly unstable. And this man, Joe Biden, is not going to be the guy who turns it around as he goes into his mid-80s and still in the Oval Office. So I think if the election were held right now, Andy, Donald Trump wins, and he wins with margins we haven't seen since 1988. We're talking 40 states winning at this point. New Jersey, where I live, blue state, I just saw a poll out where Biden's only up 5.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's absolutely wild.
He won by 23 points in 2020. I mean, it's hemorrhaging. And now Trump's doing a rally this weekend in Wildwood, New Jersey. 40,000 people are expected. 40,000.
Yeah, those blue states are very hungry, too, for a change, because they live it not just on a national scale, but you live it on the state legislature, the statewide offices scale. Illinois is exactly the same way. And you said something there that kind of caught my eye about the Chicago convention and how the chaos is going to completely overshadow the message. And I thought, why would anybody want to do that? Why would anybody want to invest in complete and total chaos to overshadow the message? And the only answer is the message is that bad. Maybe that's the case here.
You may be right, because what is this president running on? He tried to run on Bidenomics, and the economy is doing so well, and the media cheered that on. Oh, you're just too stupid to understand that your 401ks, you're having to dip into it because maybe you can't save money like you used to because wages aren't keeping up with inflation and credit card debt's at an all-time high, and people are just chasing interest at this point. We just saw that unemployment report that just came out, so obviously we're not going to see any rate hikes this year. Before I go too much into the weeds, basically people feel there's a feel election, right? They feel inflation. It's a tax on them that they have to pay every day, particularly with food prices. I mean, I just got back from shopping. My jaw dropped. And I'm still in shock, So they can't run on the economy, Andy, right? And they can't run on, again, law and order like we just talked about, or obviously immigration or the border. So I don't know what they run on outside of abortion. And Trump is bad because he has 88 felony counts against him, and we need to save democracy. If that is the play, they ain't going to win. People vote with their pocketbooks, and they do what's best for their families. And even if you don't like Trump on some sort of personal level, you do like making more money and saving more money and feeling safe in your community. So I think in the end, that's what wins.
I hope so. Joe Concha with us right now. He's a Fox News contributor and author. His book coming out in July, Progressively Worse, Why Today's Democrats Ain't Your Daddy's Donkeys. I'm looking, the reports are coming out today. Politico was shocked to find out that there is a Venn diagram, to use Kamala Harris analogies that we can all understand, a Venn diagram of people who donate to Joe Biden and people who are funding these protests across our country at these college campuses. I cannot imagine. I've got a very good education at a local state school in Southern Illinois, and I'm very proud of it. But the amount of money that it would take to graduate from Columbia, Harvard, I mean, maybe somebody else is paying for it, so maybe you don't care. But the amount of money that you'd have to invest in that to not be able to get a commencement speech because of all this chaos that is being bought and paid for at these universities. What do you make of the investment that is being made in protesting?
It's George Soros, a lot of money coming in from there, from all the reporting that we're seeing. Not surprising, right? This is a guy who is installing attorney generals throughout the country, like Alvin Bragg in Manhattan, for instance, and he just wants to sow, to use that word again, chaos in this country. The thing about Soros is, at last check, he's Jewish. So why the hell would you then, therefore, put all this time, money, and resources into attacking Jewish students or anybody who's pro-Israel when, that's your people, right?
Yeah.
So who knows what that guy is. I will say he's probably the most evil person in the country. That's certainly for sure. Look, if I'm a parent, I mean, you mentioned it before, $90,000 to go to Columbia. That's $360,000 for 4 years. What do I got to make before taxes to come up with $360,000? $700,000?
Yeah, just for that.
For that, and then
not your mortgage.
Exactly. And then these poor kids, the ones that actually played by the rules, got good grades, earned their credits, they're not part of these protests, either for or against. And now, for the second straight graduation, they ain't getting one. Because remember, 4 years ago, all the graduations were canceled because of COVID.
Yeah.
So you didn't get a high school graduation, you need a college graduation. Basically, the terrorist one, the mob one, Columbia, Harvard, I don't care. My kids are going south.
Amen.
All right? SEC country, baby. We're going to Georgia, Texas, or Tennessee. Those are the three choices right now. Even Mizzou. Why not Mizzou, right?
Yeah, you come to Mizzou. They'll take you there.
Good communication school.
Yeah, it is a very good communication journalism school. Joe Concha with us right now. I'm glad you brought that up because, the frat boy situation in our country right now is alive and well. And it's kind of resurrecting where, the frat boy mentality is something that's been pushed aside for all of these other people to try to take the center stage for quite some time. And they just decided at Ole Miss, especially is the one I've been watching the closest, because that's where those iconic pictures are coming up of these frat guys smirking in front of the American flag with such great American confidence. I just need a little bit of that bottled up for myself. Do you feel like this is a moment? Is this like the jumping of the shark for the social justice virtue signaling? I always refer back to the 15 pieces of flair you're required to wear on your Office Space costume to make sure that everybody understands what you stand for. Is it possible that virtue signaling thing finally does jump the shark in this election season?
Before I answer your question, Annie, Office Space is a top 10 movie.
It's great. It holds up every single time.
It does.
Yes.
Jennifer Aniston, her best role.
Yeah, it's definitely in the top two.
What am I going to do with the year subscription to Vibe? That's the greatest line ever. Sorry. All right, we could talk about that all day.
Yes, yeah.
Look, University of North Carolina. There was a situation down there where the brothers of Pi Kappa Phi took a patriotic stand. They surrounded the American flag, and even though they were getting pelted with water and everything else, they chanted USA and held their ground. I'm proud to say that I am a Pi Cap myself. So to my brothers out there listening,
there you go.
Well done, Star and Lamp, baby. Anyway, point is.
You're doing the secret handshake right now. Everybody can tell.
I am, yeah. I'm doing that with myself as we speak. It's not like a Tubin type of situation, I can assure you. I didn't say that. But anyway.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know
Don't
either.
explain it.
No, thanks. Tubin's still like on CNN every day now.
Yeah,
I love
how is that even possible?
They fire him, and they fire Stelter. And every time I look up, they're back on the network.
They need a better agent.
The inmates are completely running the asylum over there. I know we fired you, but why don't you come back? And, of course, Stelter being a weenie just has to do it, right? And that big smile on his face. They're probably going to rehire him. I could guarantee you.
Probably.
Yeah, so.
Well, yeah, we said the protesters haven't faced an SEC schedule yet, and it shows.
Oh, isn't that the greatest line?
That was the greatest tweet that I saw off of all of this. Well, do you think that America is, as you said earlier in our conversation here, focusing on their pocketbook and looking at the stuff going on and going, enough. I'm done. Taking off the flair. I'm just going to be a normal person living a normal life, and I'm not playing your games anymore. I'm not going to stay silent anymore. I don't need to yell at you in your face, but I'm done.
Common sense is winning. Finally, thank God. And, you see with something like Leah Thomas, just to bring up, the woke stuff, for example. She's, of course, or he's the swimmer who was 458th in the country, ranked as a man, and then suddenly becomes a woman and is winning national titles. You see polling where it's going in the opposite direction of what you would think, considering the media's stance on this for the most part, where something like now 75% of Americans say that biological men shouldn't race against biological women. Good.
Obviously.
Like that's common sense stuff. So if I'm Trump, I just hammer home the common sense stuff, not just the economy, but this party is crazy. Right? It's between common sense and crazy. And that's what my book's about primarily, because we had a president in Kennedy who cut taxes and beefed up the military and was against racial quotas. He wouldn't even sniff the nomination now in 2024. Or even Barack Obama, he was called the deporter in chief. Yeah. Bill Clinton had a balanced budget amendment, surpluses. He said the end of big government is over, ended the welfare state.
With the Republicans in Congress.
Yes, they actually work together. They're not running to Twitter all day like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Eric Swalwell trying to win a snark contest. Ooh, I'm throwing shade at Ted Cruz again. Oh, you're all children, and everybody's sick of it. We got serious problems, and we need serious people to solve them. To quote an American president, 1995, Michael Douglas.
Fantastic. Michael Douglas, President Douglas. We appreciate you, Joe. Come back again. There's always something to talk about. Nobody does it quite like you do, so we're always grateful for your time.
It was President Shepard, by the way.
Shepard, yes. Was it Andy Shepard?
Andy Shepard, very good.
Yes, I knew. Okay, definitely.
It's a decent movie. You get by the whole caricature of the Republicans. It's actually a very lovely movie, and I never use the word lovely.
It's no Office Space, though.
No, nothing is.
Joe Concha, we'll talk to you again soon. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. His book is Progressively Worse, Why Today's Democrats Ain't Your Daddy's Donkeys. It's available in July, and it's such an important point because, there's been some discussion in the YouTube live chat today about, I said earlier in the show, and I say this all the time, and I'm going to say it a bunch again, that we're not as stupid as these Democrats need us to be in order to buy what they're selling and go vote and be like, you're right. It feels very difficult to go to the grocery store, but they're telling me it's good for me, so I'll keep doing it for America. That's not happening. I know what it's like to go to the grocery store now. I know what it was like to go then, put gas in your car, to pay for virtually anything. Prices have gone through the roof. Inflation is compounding, and it's not a good situation. And if they, listen, once the powers that be in the big D Democrat Party come out and start saying, this is why costs are so high, and this is what we're going to do to lower them. You got to own the problem to fix the problem. They're telling you there's no problem. And if you believe differently, then you're wrong. I'm not as stupid as they need me to be to vote that way. And of course, Republicans and Democrats will do that alike in political cycles. But guess what? Democrats, you wanted the keys to the kingdom in 2020. You got it, and you failed on every single front. Let's get somebody else in there to try again. Maybe Donald Trump. Just a suggestion. Joe Concha with us. If you missed that, you can check the Annie Fry Show podcast. Would love to have you subscribe there. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to go around the room here with Ryan and Brad and answer the question, what will be the 2024 election dominating issue? Are you shaking your head at me?
Yes.
Why?
We've got guests next segment.
We do?
Yes. Thomas Helbig.
That's at 1:45, isn't it?
Oh, that's 1:45. That's my fault. That's my bad.
Shaking my head at you. You're throwing me off, buddy. Can we do the poll when we come back?
Yes, we can.
1:45 with Thomas Helbig. Is that okay? That's right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that was fun. I was right for once. I'm never right in those instances. Stick around. More Annie Fry Show of some kind in just a minute.
What you know, Joe? I don't dig you. What you know, Joe? Hey, stop your squawking. Just ain't talking, 'cause I don't know.
IGotFloor.com. That's the website for Michael's flooring outlet. IGotFloor.com. Shopping for flooring is an exciting event. You can go shopping for flooring a lot of places. And, you don't have to stop your search when you go to Michael's. You don't have to start your search at Michael's, but I do need you to include Michael's in your search for flooring because you'll get a comparison and really a good sense of the value when you compare the quality that you're going to absolutely get when you shop at Michael's Flooring Outlet on things like tile or carpet fit, the Mohawk Smart Strand, the silk performance, the beautiful carpet that they carry. You can get different levels of padding, which can change the investment underneath it and really amp up the quality. If you're looking for carpet tile, maybe a commercial situation where you are wanting to change the flooring in your place of business and you're going from carpet to carpet tile, they have all of these solutions for you. But if you shop other places first, or if you stop by Michael's and you check out another place when you're in the store to buy some paint or some plumbing parts or something like that, and you go through the flooring department, you're going to have a greater sense of value for that product that you're going to be able to buy from the best staff in the business at Michael's Flooring Outlet. Locally owned and operated, 3 locations across the St. Louis region, but online right now at igotfloored.com.
Can I search your card? You know where this is going. What's in that cigar? I know my rights and you do too. I want to talk to my lawyer, not you.
This is Mike Carter, founder of DidYouBlow.com and DWISTL.com. DWIs are complicated matters, and at DWISTL.com, we have 10 attorneys and paralegals working on every DWI matter.
I want my phone call.com.
So put DWISTL.com or DidYouBlow.com in your phone's contacts right now at 314-895-4040.
I just text 895-4040.
Again, go to DWISTL.com or DidYouBlow.com.
If you had a crystal ball, you wouldn't agonize over when to sell your home. You just ask, should I sell while my home's value is sky high? Or wait and hope the bottom doesn't drop out of the housing market? The thing is, I'm not ready to move. You don't need a crystal ball with Truehold's Sell and Stay program. You can literally sell now and stay in your home as long as you like. When you sell your home to Truehold for its best current value, you can fully cash out your home's equity. And you can stay in your home as long as you want with an easy, affordable lease. Truehold pays property taxes, insurance, and maintenance too. Truehold unlocks your wealth without uprooting your life. Get an offer now while your home's value is sky high and use the money to secure your retirement, pay off bills, or finance your dreams. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out your home's current best value without moving. That's Truehold.com. Go to Truehold.com now. That's Truehold.com.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential. But finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. If you're not sure who to call for air conditioning services, contact the team at Air Comfort Service. With 55 years of experience and thousands of 5-star reviews, you can trust them with the comfort of your home. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules. The Mark Reardon Show.
We are so proud and excited on May 20th. You get your own bobblehead night at Busch Stadium, Kenny Wallace.
It is me. It does definitely look a little bit like me. And I'm throwing out the first pitch, and we are super honored. We're honored.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
Could dress up to get love, but guess what? I'm never gonna be that girl who's living in a Barbie world. Could wake up and make up and play dumb, pretending that I need a boy who's gonna treat me like a toy. I know the other girlies wanna wear expensive things.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
I don't wanna
Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
Queen don't need a king. Oh, I don't know what you've been told, but this guy right here is gonna rule the world. Yeah, that is where I'm gonna be, because I wanna be. No, I don't wanna sit still.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. We're going to do the YouTube poll right now, Brad.
Okay.
No. I don't know if I'm okay with that now, though.
Oh, we do have a
Well,
guest. It's
you're-
Ryan Wiggins.
Yeah, you're not the producer, so.
Well,
Yes.
I had a lot of sway, though.
YouTube poll, yeah, in your hips, not over the show.
Very good comeback.
I got nothing. I might feel like I'm blushing right now. Is it hot in here?
Yeah, it is.
It's
not you.
It's the sway.
We were just plowing through, having some fun, and now we're talking about Ryan swaying hips.
The conversation just goes
lunchtime.
there. It just goes there. People bring it up a lot. I didn't even bring it up this time. I said sway, and he went right to my hips, as is common. Annie?
I'm going to change my poll question to what will be the 2024 election dominating issue, and it's this conversation right here.
D's hips don't lie.
D's hips. Is it the economy? Is it foreign policy? Is it, I should have put foreign policy, foreign and domestic security. Because someone said the border. Like, how could it not be the border? Yeah, that one's not on there. But I would kind of consider that to, it's not foreign policy. It's the opposite of foreign policy. It's domestic. But abortion and corruption. Brad, do you have an obvious answer to this question?
Yes, I do. It is the economy. There is no other option or no other selection or possibility on this list that you are not confronted with daily, weekly, and monthly. It is a constant drumbeat. You're always going to the store. You're always filling your tank. You're always getting your paycheck. You're always looking at your budget. You're always wondering, do I have enough money here to make ends meet? And like, I know people say, it's not that bad and inflation's come down. It's like, no. And the rate of acceleration of inflation has slowed, but it's still sitting way over that. What would we have? 2 months of 9% growth plus 3 and 3 and 6 and 4 and whatever on top of that. That all compounds and stacks. You're talking like 22, 23% interest over what it was in 2020. That hurts, and nobody can ignore it. They all feel it. Everybody feels it. And whenever they feel it, they're going to say, who's in charge? Why is this like that? And they're going to look at the Democrats and go, nope, you're in charge. You own this. You wear this.
That does hurt. Does it hurt as much as your arthritic hips, Ryan?
Oh, no, there's no arthritis in these hips.
It's funny.
You're real proud of yourself right now. I can tell.
It really looks like it when it's kind of hitching and catching.
Oh, no, it doesn't hitch or catch. These things been greased.
Oh, it's like the robot?
By God.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So I just naturally
now we're
walk
talking
that
about
way.
Ryan's greasy hips.
Ew.
Swaying.
Yeah, I'm and they call me the mom of the show for a reason. I walk with a little bit of swagger, and the guys cannot resist.
They call you the mom of the Annie Fry Show?
I don't even know what I'm talking
You're
about.
drunk.
I'm just making things up.
Did you drink a whole White Claw?
No.
Did you finish that one?
You know what I did have, though, right before I came in here?
Sugar.
The new Dr. Pepper coconut. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's a little creamy, but it's still good. Anyway, to answer the poll question, which is what we're talking about in this segment, even putting border in foreign policy, excuse me, a little flustered.
Quit smoking.
I still think it's the economy. And part of the reason is that a lot of the criticism of the border stuff is economic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of the people who are criticizing that there are too many illegal immigrants in Chicago, for instance, they're saying all the money is going to them. All these projects and things are going to them. So it's still kind of an economic concern. So I'm with Brad. I do believe that the economy is the number one driver. You open the show with that clip from the NPR reporter talking about how even Democrats were having Trump economic nostalgia. And I think Hogan Gidley hit on this a little bit too, that it's amazing that with all the inflation, with the economic problems that we've had, that this administration has chosen to say, you know what? You're just wrong. We know what you're feeling.
Hey, dummy.
Yeah, we know what you're feeling. Or actually, we don't know what
Your
you're feeling.
wallet's not empty.
because
You just can't count.
It doesn't apply to us. You just need to listen better to what we're saying. That's your problem. That would fix your economic problems.
It's not just them. When you listen to the media and they talk about this issue and they show the polling, it's like, yeah, they do have a messaging issue with the economy. And it's like, they have an economic issue with the economy. It's not a messaging problem.
It's true, except that their message is a problem because they've chosen to have no message on the economy, which is the main issue. All they had to do, and this wasn't to fix all their problems, but it is a different approach. They would have had to acknowledge, you know what? We see that people are in a bad spot. They won't even say that. They won't say that. If they did, they could then say, you know what? But we have this figured out. We inherited problems. That's what they would have to do. But they won't even acknowledge that there is a problem. It's amazing.
I think that the corruption element of this poll is going to turn out every square inch of Donald Trump's base. And I think that that's key. Because I don't think that Joe Biden has a base. I think there is an anti-Trump base. So I think Trump has two bases. And he's got the pro-Trump base and he's got the anti-Trump base. There are people in the middle, some who have considered themselves previously to be never Trump. And that is who Donald Trump has to win in order to win this election. Because I think that the casual never Trump base is in play right now. I think that the dedicated keyboard warrior, Democrat protest and rally goer anti-Trump base, it's their identity. I know people whose pro-Trump support is their identity. And to me, I'm going to be honest, it's as unattractive. Well, it's not as
well,
it's unattractive. I don't understand putting your be-all and end-all purpose in the success or failure of Donald Trump, and both of those people exist. I also can't even understand 1 ounce of somebody going, I'm not going to do everything I can to make sure that Joe Biden loses. And that might mean a vote for Donald Trump. That doesn't make any sense to me. And the people, like, that's what I wish that more people having political conversations who are in a position to influence, and I see this with some, I don't see it with others, but the idea that the never Trumpers used to be, in my opinion, the biggest portion of the pro-Biden voter base. That Joe Biden's support was always more defined by a hatred or a dislike or a dissatisfaction or I'm not doing that again of Donald Trump than it was a pro-Joe Biden situation. That everybody has to be asking themselves, this is the question, at what cost am I willing to vote against my own personal best interest to hold on to the virtuous position of hating Donald Trump? And that's why I think it's the economy, because it is at a literal cost to you. I think that there are other issues that could certainly become bigger and like in a foreign policy sense, you know, like just your run-of-the-mill World War III that could involve enlisting your sons. And if the right gets, or excuse me, if the Democrats get their way, enlisting your daughters, because how would you know the difference between the two? There's no way to tell. Once you turn 18, your body belongs to the government. And if they want to draft you, they can still do that. Will they? I don't know. If there's World War III, who in this country is going to sign up to defend a country that they despise, that they hate, and they want to destroy? Just let the other people do it. I mean, I'm just playing by the left's rules here. Those are all huge, huge, huge consequences that American voters have to take into account. But the idea that while your 401k is probably up, your credit card debt is probably up. You've probably looked at your 401k or a cash out refinance or your savings account that's not nearly what it used to be because things keep popping up as they are apt to do, and they are all really expensive right now. Would they be this way if Donald Trump were the president? We have a way to know. He already was the president. It wasn't. It was not like this. Joe Biden's first day initiatives were anti-American economy. He does not espouse a love for this country. Every single time he gets a microphone and a podium and a teleprompter, he espouses love for himself. That's going to come across harsh for some people to hear me say that about the lovable old Uncle Joe, Grandpa Joe now. Some people are going to hear that and feel like that's harsh. Prove me wrong. Show me where he has taken the opportunity to really put himself out there and just be about the American people. The dude can't tell a story, give a speech, deliver a message without talking about some bull crap lie about himself. He lies more than he tells the truth. So much so that it's a parody now. To listen to Joe Biden have the opportunity, and every time he exists in a presidential capacity, he's supposed to be representing you. You're supposed to be the epicenter of the focus of every time the president of the United States speaks, because he's doing so on your behalf, because you elected to send him there, and maybe not you specifically, but the collective, the republic. That's how we do things here. That matters. And he always uses it to talk about himself. He knows what everybody's experienced because he's experienced everything himself. He drove a semi-truck to the moon to visit Nelson Mandela in jail.
Fact check. True.
True.
Fact check.
He also helped Neil Armstrong plant that flag
Yeah.
up there.
Actually, that
Not a
was
joke.
that Neil Armstrong tried to do it and couldn't get it to stick. That's actually Joe Biden
Mhm.
in that astronaut suit. What do you call that? An astronaut suit?
Yeah, astronaut suit.
Yeah. That's Joe Biden.
Pop was so proud of me.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, the absurdity of it is what should be offensive to you, is that this man can make everything about himself, and he is very, very good at it. So good that it's the only thing that comes out when Joe Biden is on autopilot. When Joe Biden goes off script, he talks about Joe Biden. He talks about BS things about Joe Biden. He just is like, looks at the headline of the event he's at, and he's like, I've been there. I've been everywhere. Freaking Johnny Cash as the president of the United States. He's been there. He's done that. Now, guess what? He did it better than you. And he can do everything better than you, which is why when you misunderstand your experience in this world about what it's like to go to the grocery store, and you're like, this is unsustainable. He's like, you're wrong. And you're supposed to go, that's correct, sir.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think about it that way. I'm wrong.
It's not sustainable. We cannot continue going on this path where people are going to just willfully agree with whatever Joe Biden reads off of his cards. And not even well, I might add. The way that you pair what I'm saying with the other sense of evidentiary substance is when you go to the press briefings and 80% of what Corinne Jean-Pierre says is her flipping through her binder, repeating, we've been clear on this.
Yeah.
How come you have to say, well, we've been clear on this in front of like every response that you give? Like just by virtue of the question being asked means that you need to just be a little clearer. And she's incapable of doing it. She redirects everything that she doesn't want to talk about, that she throws to the Hatch Act way more often than the Hatch Act, which is a conflict between the presidential business and the business of a campaign. There's a delineation there. There should be, but it's a crutch for her. This is a mess. We're all watching a mess in action. And the thing of it is, and you know, I was talking with Hogan Gidley about this at 1225 a little bit, is that my real opinion of this is that the reason why they're so bad at their jobs is because they've been propped up so much and for so long by the media that they really do feel like they can float out there what they want to say, and then the media will come up with the support for it because they do. And then when everybody in a room, if you got 10 people in a room and 9 people are saying that the sky is green and one's like, I think that the sky is blue, even when you look up at the sky and like, that sky is blue. But 9 people are going, what are you talking about? It's green. Everybody can tell that it's green, and telling you that, you would look at the sky a second time just to make sure you weren't losing your mind. But the 9 out of 10 people saying it doesn't make the sky green. And it takes the people to say, you're wrong on this, and I don't care if I'm in the minority. I'm going to stand up and I'm going to say this because what's true needs to be told. We've had a whole influx. I wonder, since 2020, since 2016 into 2020 to now, how much growth there has been in alternative conservative media. Because that even keeps, we're a Fox News radio station right here. I don't get told anything from Fox News. Fox News doesn't provide me anything other than maybe a line to get guests better on this station than another conservative talk radio station that doesn't have that connection or relationship. But there's no programming that is input into me or this show. In fact, Brad would probably prefer if there were, because it would make his job a lot simpler. This is just us, just talking about what we're experiencing on a day-to-day and knowing that Fox News is conservatives like Fox News, but apparently Democrats either can't stand the other guys, but they still watch Fox News because I think that it's palatable for them. It doesn't go the converse. Nobody is watching these other mainstream media outlets other than the people who need their fix. And if that starts to crumble between now and November, what's going to happen is that the administration is going to continue to operate at status quo, but they are going to look so foolish doing it. Because the circus, it's like they're the central act of the circus, but the circus left town, and they're still doing their little hip sway thing.
No, I know exactly what that sway thing is. I was just waiting to...
You do swing your hips like a lib.
I mean, it's just the way I walk. It's just the way I walk.
It's more of a sachet than
if you've ever seen me at an event, if you came out to Tyrus or you came out to one of our events, that's just the way I walk.
Did you say sachet?
Yes.
Would you call it a sachet?
I call it a Shantae. RuPaul says both. Sachet, Shantae.
Time to break.
No. We're just getting going.
I'm voting economy, and I don't think that there's a way around it. Did you say economy?
I said economy,
Brad,
too.
you said economy?
Yes.
No brainer?
No brainer.
Before we wrap up the show, let's take economy off the table and pick a second and see if we're right on what comes in second.
Okay.
My friend Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw are going to come in studio here in just a minute. I am going to be out at the Plaza Frontenac again here in not too long, and I'd love to see you there. So stick around. I'll talk to you a little bit about the economy with Thomas Helbig when we come back, and I'll tell you when you can come hang out with me for a little bit and Thomas Helbig as well. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Oh, I don't know what you've been told, but this guy right here's gonna rule the world. Yeah, that is where I'm gonna be, because I wanna be. No, I don't wanna sit still, look pretty. You get off on it, 9 to 5, dream of picket fences and trophy wives. But no, I'm never gonna be, because I don't wanna be. No, I don't wanna sit still, look pretty.
So Thomas Helbig, I was just talking to you about this. Thomas Helbig and the Retirement Advisory Group are going to be out at the Frontenac Hilton, 6:30 p.m. on Thursday. This is Thursday. These are usually Tuesdays. Maybe this opens up the door for you. Thursday, May 16th. The event starts at 6:30 p.m. I'm going to get there at 6, and from about 6 p.m. to 6:30, 6:45, I'm going to be hanging out and getting to know you. At 6:30 when it starts, I'll do a little talking in the front of the room along with my friends Mark Cox and Mark Reardon, who will be there as well. And what is it at this event that you need to know? First and foremost, it's free. Second, there are snacks. And third, and most importantly, Thomas Helbig, Bob Kershaw, Tammy Kershaw, and the Retirement Advisory Group team are just going to spend about 45 minutes talking to you about how you can set the stage for a very, very successful retirement. Now, me being 40 years old, I'm not there yet. If you are somebody who is nearing retirement, 55 and a half or older, maybe you've already retired and you want to make sure that you've made all the smart moves, this free event is a can't miss. You do need to reserve your spot. Give them a call and say, Annie was talking about an event Thursday, May 16th. I'd like to reserve some seats. 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494. Or you can sign up online as well at retirementkey.com.
Carter here. Too often we lose sight of how fortunate we are to live in Missouri. When I travel out of state on business, people say, Mike Carter, what's so special about Missouri? Well, let's start with the mighty Mississippi and Missouri rivers traversing the state. They were the superhighways of the day, used by French fur trappers and traders. Later, American settlers like Daniel Boone and waves of pioneers drove their teams and wagons along the Boonslick Trail he blazed. Carter Law Offices, right now, founded by me, Mike Carter, started and is on Boonslick Trail, near where those intrepid settlers crossed the Missouri to harness the land. Rich soils and generations of farm families like my own grandparents made Missouri the breadbasket of America. Drive a few minutes outside our cities and towns, and you'll find yourself passing miles and miles of undulating wheat and corn, farms and ranches that feed our nation. I'm Mike Carter, and I'm proud to live and work in the Show Me State, a place God blessed just a little bit more. Go to MikeCarter.com to see more about our great state of Missouri.
Mark Cox here. Did you know the Rockwood School District is a great place to work? They're currently hiring school bus drivers, cafeteria workers, and custodial staff, as well as summer positions for mowers and landscapers. They have openings in Adventure Club, which is before and after school care. They offer competitive pay, flexible work hours, and a rewarding work environment. Discover the Rockwood Advantage and join an amazing team. Go to rsdmo.org/jobs. That's rsdmo.org/jobs.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's business cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp for free. Just go to ramp.com/free. Ramp.com/free. ramp.com/free.
It's not too late for a deep spring cleaning on your home. Give my friends at Zerorez a call, 314-474-2020. Schedule today and get 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $129 and take $50 off your air duct cleaning. Make sure to mention me, Mark Reardon, ZerorezSTL.com.
What will be the 2024 election dominating issue? These hips don't lie. I chose economy. What are you choosing? We'd like to know not only what your first choice is, but let us know in the comments what your second choice is
don't
as
lie,
well.
But the mouse.
No. The hips don't lie and the lips don't lie. Economy, foreign policy, abortion, or corruption. Those are your 4 choices today in the Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll. It is 151. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
97.1 FM Talk. You're here, and so are St. Louis's conservative thought leaders. St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw in here. Great friends and partners with us here on the Annie Fry Show in the Retirement Advisory Group. We're just talking about the economy and how this is a leading issue for people from a political standpoint, but it's really a personal issue, Thomas, that people are experiencing. I hear the 401ks are going up, but everything is going up. What's your experience when you're talking to people about their economic situation?
The big word that everybody's worried about right now and all the top economists, stagflation.
Okay.
Because inflation is continuing to rise now. Now, back in November when the Fed said in 2024 we should be able to lower interest rates 6 times. Wall Street went crazy, went up 25%. Now they're taking the lowering interest rates off the table. Inflation's rearing its head. It's going up, and the economy is slowing down. Unemployment is actually going up. That means stagflation, and that's what they're worried about.
What does that mean if you're, the people who you work with at the Retirement Advisory Group are people who are very close to retirement, over 55, people who have just retired? What do you have to prepare for if you're that close to retirement when that's the situation?
Prepare for a major downturn in the market. Ugh. It was in there was an article today. Warren Buffett liquidated more. He's up to $182 billion in cash. He's getting more and more out of the market because of stagflation and recession woes. They're worried about it.
So Bob Kershaw's in here with us as well. I love these events. We've got one coming up on Thursday, May 16th. I'm going to be there. Mark Cox and Mark Reardon are going to be there as well. But when people who are, like I said, 59 and a half or older,
Yes,
what's
exactly.
the age? Who should come?
Typically, anybody that's near retirement, but typically when you're 59 and a half or older. But sometimes you might have a 401k from a previous company that's sitting there that you're worried about because you worked your whole lives for that also. We can help you move that at any age.
Okay, so when people come to this event, it's at the Frontenac Hilton on May 16th. It doesn't cost you anything to come. What kind of things do you discuss and present in that evening?
We are going to educate you on how you can protect your principal. You can get the market gains without risking your principal doing so. And then once you meet with us one-on-one, we're going to put together what's called a personalized structured income plan. We're going to answer the two questions that everybody wants to know. How much money am I going to have when I retire, and when can I retire?
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to do for you folks.
And how long your money will last.
How long the money's going to last.
That's a
Absolutely.
big one.
That's important.
That is.
Because when we do these personalized income, the personalized structured income plans, it shows you how much income you will have coming in from your whole portfolio. And again, it shows you how long your money will last.
So
and we'll teach these people how to avoid the fees also. Go ahead, Annie.
No, that's a huge part of it as well, because people are paying fees they don't even realize that they're paying and losing their investments or their dollars that way. Thomas, how long have you been doing these seminars?
I've been doing these seminars for probably 25 going on 30 years.
They're really effective, and I always appreciate feedback that I get from people who have come. I mean, obviously, I'm not at retirement age quite yet, but the idea that people need to know how to make that shift and to be able to go to a free event, and I say this every time, and I'm going to say it again, you don't suck up the whole evening. It starts at 6:30. I'm going to be there from 6 to 6:30 to hopefully get to meet as many of you as I can, but you value people's time that night.
So we start at 6:30, but you and Mark will say a few words. We'll do a little trivia. I usually start about 6:45, and I only speak for 45 minutes. And you remember the last one we had in March?
Yeah,
it was packed.
Overflow.
We had to keep bringing in chairs. It was an overflow. It was packed. And this next one's going to be packed too. Okay. Because with this election year, volatility is going to start increasing.
Yeah.
So, folks, get your money safe. Learn the strategies we'll teach you.
Well, Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw in the studio with us right now to talk to you about coming to this event. I love being able to be involved with this and to meet people. It's a really good opportunity for Mark and myself to shake some hands. People love you, people love the station, and we're so glad to be partners with you. So Thursday, May 16th at the Frontenac Hilton, retirementkey.com. You can sign up there, right?
Retirementkey.com or call 314-993-9494.
And mention the Annie Fry Show when you do so I can show the boys how it's done. I like to do that. I know they do that as well.
We'll see you a week from Thursday.
Yeah, week from Thursday, May 16th. Retirementkey.com. Stick around. More Annie Fry Show in a minute.
On Saturday, May 18th, the Cards host the Boston Red Sox, and that day, 25,000 fans ages 16 and older will take home a mystery nickname jersey courtesy of Maryville University. Throughout the seasons, players with unique nicknames have left their mark like Pags, Carp, and the most recent Newt. The Cardinals are excited to honor these players with this fun mystery jersey giveaway. That's Saturday, May 18th. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/promotions.
The Cardinals wrap up their weekend series with the Boston Red Sox Sunday, May 19th. 25,000 fans ages 16 and older will take home a 200-piece puzzle commemorating Adam Wainwright's 200 career wins. One puzzle piece for each win. That's not all. 10,000 kids 15 and younger entering with a ticket will also receive their own pair of Cardinals sunglasses courtesy of the Pasta House. That's Sunday, May 19th. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/promotions.
This is Adam Wainwright, St. Louis Cardinals for the Lou.
St. Louis's Window World, they've been owned and operated locally for over 21 years. My opportunity to meet the people who are connected to and running Window World, these are St. Louis people. But the thing about the windows that they sell, these are quality windows. And it's nice to be able to, shop with local people and to purchase and invest in something in your local St. Louis area, bi-state region home. From locals. I think that matters. But it doesn't matter more than good quality windows matter. And that's why I'm proud to be in a relationship here with Window World. They have, in just over 20 years, improved the look and thermal efficiency of over 72,000 customers in St. Louis. But they've done it by giving you a double strength glass that provides strength that isn't traditionally used commonly in replacement windows. And it comes with a lifetime warranty with parts, glass breakage, and labor included. Call Window World at 314-993-1800, 314-993-1800, windowworld.com.
Hello, Mike Carter here. I wonder if you knew that after the purchase of the Louisiana Territory in 1804, a formal three-flag ceremony was held in St. Louis to mark the transfer. The Spanish flag lowered and the French tricolor raised. That in turn was lowered the next day and the flag of the young Republic of the United States stood tall. I'm Mike Carter of Carter Law Offices here, and at that moment the people living here went from being subjects to being citizens of a great free nation. Jump ahead 220 years to what we have become, and over 6 million men, women, and children now call Missouri home. Our largest cities are an economic powerhouse, and our small towns and family farms remain the heart of the nation. A friend wrote me one time at Carter Law Offices, "Hey, Mike Carter, why don't Missouri residents show their pride by flying our state flag more often like the folks in Texas?" I was like, that's a really great idea. And I was thinking, maybe anybody who's listening to this, if you want to send me an email at mike@carterlegal.com with your name and address if you're okay doing so, and I'll send you a free state flag, and you can hang it out on your front porch and show everybody you're as proud of Missouri as I am.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio, 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
More questions than answers in Washington. Lisa Brady, Fox News, as Hamas claims it has accepted a ceasefire proposal for Gaza, though it's not clear yet which proposal, after weeks of talks mediated by Qatar and Egypt. The White House says CIA Director William Burns remains in the region.
We want to get these hostages out. We want to get a ceasefire in place for 6 weeks. We want to increase humanitarian assistance. And the last thing that I want to do is say anything at this podium that's going to put that process at risk.
National Security Communications Advisor John Kirby says word of the Hamas announcement came after a morning phone call between President Biden and Prime Minister Netanyahu. Before the call, Israel had warned civilians to evacuate, in part of the southern Gaza city of Rafah.
We've made clear our views about operations in Rafah that could potentially put more than 1 million innocent people at greater risk. During his call with Prime Minister Netanyahu, the president again made this clear.
And Kirby says the president also believes a hostage deal is the best way to avoid that kind of outcome. On multiple college campuses in the U.S., protests over the war continue. Arrests made earlier today at UC San Diego, where an encampment was cleared. Day 12 at former President Trump's criminal trial in New York.
We've heard a lot about payments and invoices and reimbursement to Michael Cohen, but so far, no evidence or testimony directly tying the former president into that alleged scheme to pay off Stormy Daniels. On the witness stand is the former Trump Organization controller, Jeff McConney. He's been explaining how Michael Cohen was reimbursed eventually for using his own money to pay Stormy. But McConney said he knew nothing about any agreement or deal with Stormy Daniels for her alleged hush money payments.
Fox's Eric Shawn at State Supreme Court. The day began with another contempt of court ruling from the judge, fining the former president $1,000 for a 10th gag order violation and repeating a warning that jail is a possibility for continued violations. America is listening to Fox News.
When you use Bounce dryer sheets and your clothes look amazing, it's the sheet. Less static in your life? Yeah, it's the sheet. Smelling fresher than ever? It's the sheet. Oh, so soft fabric? Ooh la la. It's the sheet. Less wrinkles on your clothes? You know it's the sheet. Bounce dryer sheets. More freshness, more softness. Less static, less wrinkles. It's the sheet.
There are more identity threats than you realize. Even if you monitor your credit, only a little personal info needs to leak out, like your social security number or password, for you to become a victim. LifeLock alerts you to threats you could miss. If your identity is stolen, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions, but everyone can save up to 25% off their first year with promo code NEWS. Go to lifelock.com.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
It's a couple of days of periods of rock and roll weather, but we've got a mix of clouds and sunshine this afternoon. A little break, 79. Tonight, the clouds are back, rain and thunderstorms, some severe After midnight, 65. Tuesday, we start with showers and thunderstorms, some severe, then turning partly sunny, windy and warm, 85. More rain and thunderstorms, some severe on Wednesday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure, it's just not fun, always walking around with a headache.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of St. Louis Sinus Centers called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, congestion? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with St. Louis Sinus Centers. Call 314-332-2885. 314-332-2885. That's 314-332-2885.
This station is now conducting a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test.
Stewart's American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan, 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. Stewie's there to help navigate these strange economic times and the crazy, crazy market that is out there right now when you're purchasing a home. You can't really leave phone calls or text messages like Stewie's on the table without checking how he can help you through your mortgage situation. You need the best deal you can get, and that best deal comes with Stewart's American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan. When you use a Bagel Loan to get a mortgage for the house that you're going to buy, you pay nothing in closing costs that every other lender out there is going to charge you for. And you can only get the Bagel Loan with Stewart's American Mortgage. If you reach out to him or text him at 314-324-4440, that's 314-324-4440. You can talk to him about how the Bagel Loan can help you with your home purchase. They also do refinances. Myself, a two-time Bagel Loan refinance customer myself. 314-324-4440. Google the Bagel Loan, NMLS number 226715.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
Are you a business owner? Do you want your voice and the voices of your clients represented? Let us do the talking. Join our community of free thinkers on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Learn more at 971talk.com/partner. The Annie Fry Show YouTube live chat poll of the day is sponsored by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Ryan, you were saying, go ahead.
I wasn't saying anything. My hips were just speaking louder than I guess you could hear.
Where were you?
I was just walking around showing everybody.
Your hips?
No.
That's how you get fired.
Oh, no, I wouldn't do that. I was just walking around showing everybody what it looks like to be a man. And then inevitably people start commenting on the hips because I got a little sway when I walk. But that's nothing new.
Were you in the bathroom?
I almost wish I was.
Yeah.
What I was doing was much more boring. It was just
Ryan.
Yeah, wait,
I don't
what?
know what happens in the bathroom when you're in there.
Oh, man, bathroom's fun time.
But I'm just going on a limb that you are overselling what you're delivering.
No.
In the bathroom department.
No. No, when I go in the bathroom,
No,
it's, oh, yeah.
no.
Okay. I won't talk about that then.
You were late. You weren't in here for the whole.
I was fine. I walked in during the intro.
How are we supposed to talk about what we're going to do in the next segment if you don't come in with you? We had very much so established that I was not America's sweetheart by the time you sauntered in here.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it looked like, by the way.
It was the first time I'd ever heard that you were not America's sweetheart either. So
I know you're conflicted.
With that in mind, I was like, shoot, what are we going to talk about now that we've established that Annie's not America's sweetheart?
What were you doing?
I was just cutting audio. It was very fun.
You were working.
Yes, I was working.
Okay.
It was benign work.
You know you still have to come in here.
I'm also doing this work.
Yeah.
Pretty much doing it all.
You're catching up. Okay. Have you seen the viral trend? It's a TikTok thing, I guess. I never know that these are TikTok things until I'm 12 hours into understanding that the story exists. A popular TikTok trend has women responding to the question, holy cow, calm down there, Mr. Ad Machine on my computer. A popular TikTok trend has a woman responding to the question, would you rather be stuck in a forest with a man or a bear?
I've seen this. I don't know why I've seen this.
Did you know this was like a thing?
Yes, but I saw a short about it being a thing.
I want to know, before we get too far into this conversation, why is the question not to women, would you rather be stuck in a forest with a man or a bear or a woman? Because everybody would choose women. Why?
I don't know. I think I would choose women, and I'm not sure why. I would be less afraid of them attacking me than
Why?
a bear. I don't think women attack people as much as bears in the woods.
No, just very passively.
Yeah, it's all
I'm
all mental
I'm
games.
laughing at all the men like bear. Definitely the bear.
Guys, it'd be other dudes.
You mean it would just be her and me alone? She couldn't nag anybody else?
Ooh,
Death by bear. It's like a 1,000 cut situation.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe I would switch to bear because they could catch more salmon than a woman.
And hand them right over to you.
Yeah.
Because that's why they catch them.
They catch them as gifts.
Isn't that what the government's trying to sell you with taxes?
Yeah.
Here, we'll do this for you. Come closer.
Yeah. Come on, here, I'm just catching this for you.
You need to be within a paw's reach when I catch the salmon for you.
Uh-huh.
The question is, would you rather be stuck in a forest with a man or a bear? Many women say immediately that they have to choose between the two. They'd prefer to be stuck with a bear. How do you feel about that, men? And Ryan? Sorry.
Would you rather? Yeah, it was.
I'm sorry.
I should have known. I should have been ready for that because it was so obvious.
I didn't even mean it.
Yeah.
But it was too hard not to say out loud.
But here, switch the question. Would you rather be stuck in the woods with a bear, a man, or the way that I walk, like me? Yeah,
a woman? I'm still choosing the woman. Hey, Brian, there's nothing wrong with it.
Look, if I walk up with my sachet Shantae
to the bear, who's
No.
like, come here, I've got some salmon for
to
you,
you in
honey.
the woods, are you immediately choosing me or the bear? That's the question. Because you know I'm not a threat.
It wasn't until this moment that I realized this really is a hard question.
This is a stupid question because isn't it all about how men are toxic and they're going to
Many
hurt
women
you?
say immediately if they had to choose between the two, they'd prefer to be stuck with a bear. The trend began on April 10th with a TikTok video, which is why I'm just getting to it and finding out on May 6th that it was a beginning on TikTok. In the 29-second video, only one of the 8 women who are asked the question replied that they would rather be stuck with a man in the woods. All of the rest opted for bear. Men are scary, said one woman.
It's so stupid. It makes me so mad when these things go viral. And I wonder if they're, selectively keeping out people who would have chosen man. Like, I'm just going to pick the bear people.
It's a TikTok trend.
Yes.
They're not keeping anybody out.
I'm gonna throw a wrinkle in this as well. If the question really were to me, would I rather be stuck in a forest with a man, a bear, or a woman? I'm picking the man.
Yeah. Because of fighting off bears?
It's the only one that's going to be able to protect me more than I can protect myself. I'm strong. I'm resourceful. I'm smart enough. Gosh darn it. Some people like me, not everybody. But I'm not going to be in a position where there's another woman out there that I'm going to feel is going to serve as my protector. The bear wants you dead. Either wants nothing to do with you, or if you come across a conflicting situation where the bear does acknowledge your existence, you're bear toast. You are butter on for them that afternoon. You're toast. That's just the way it's going to be. The only entity, if it were a man and a woman and a bear, that makes me more likely to come out of this scenario safe is a man. I don't think this is a hard question. And if your entire experience in life has led you to a point as a grown woman where you think that a bear is less frightening than a man, then you've never been around a real man. Simple. The idea of what a man is and what man, when I envision being lost in the woods and needing a man to be my protector or to be my companion or to be the thing that isn't going to kill and eat me. The idea of being stuck in the woods with any of those entities, the man is the only one that, to me, gives me the best opportunity to have a more protected survival. Simple. That doesn't mean that every man that it might be is going to provide that for me. It doesn't mean that every woman wouldn't provide resourcefulness or, help in order to try to get from point A to point B where surviving is at point B. I know what the bear gets me. And if you have only ever experienced men in a sub-bear carnal kind of way, I am so sorry that your experience has been so piss poor, but you've never met a man. That's my take.
I would pick a woman as long as she had done roller derby or worked construction. And as long as she did not have a picnic basket, because that would attract the bears. Now,
is that a Yogi Bear thing?
Yes. Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
I was searching everything I know about roller derby and construction workers. And like, I don't.
No, they didn't connect to that. No, they didn't connect to that. But
Brian only talks like that when he's sashaying too. It's such a weird combo.
Yeah. Whenever I walk around the office and people are like, "Woo," I'm getting catcalled, and then I start talking like Yogi Bear, people retract it immediately. Hey,
that's why they're repelled.
Yeah, that's right.
You had them until the Yogi Bear.
Yeah. Did you hear about the new fridge with all the drinks in it?
Do you really think that there are this many women out there having that sort of experience with men? Or
On
do you
TikTok,
think,
yes.
Or do you think that they're having something poured into their head that says most men are like that?
I think that sometimes okay, let me say this very carefully. When you take an approach to the world that something is true, I'm trying to take this because people are going to hear this and think I'm saying that there's like an asking for it type of, and I'm predicating all of this with an absolutely not. Give me a break. But if you approach every man that you meet with the mental understanding that men are subhuman people only out there to sexually assault you, attack you, and leave you for death, all I'm saying is that the men that you come into contact with are going to sense that that's how you feel about them. Everybody gets a vibe about somebody. Then you're probably not going to have the most positive experiences with men. And also, it is not a conservative ideal to degrade men the way it is really almost at the apex of postmodern progressive liberal feminism, that you need to understand there is a hierarchy here and men have been kicked to the very bottom. And it is your duty as a postmodern feminist to make sure you stomp them down every chance you get, just to remind them, because they've been on the top for a long time. They need to be reminded. If they even start to look up, you got to press them right back down, remind them where they belong. This is just an exercise in that. And it gets a lot of people talking. So it does become kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. But I do believe that there are people who have been mistreated by bad males that don't understand the goodness and the greatness that exists when you're being treated the way a man should treat a woman. And if you don't know that, I do have an actual honest sadness that people haven't experienced the goodness that is. But it does start to be this kind of self-fulfilling thing where it's like you wake up in the morning and you think Donald Trump is the worst person. You listen to his speech, he says something you don't like, and you're like, see, I told you, and you go to bed comfortable that night to get up and do it again the next morning. Same thing with these feminists that don't understand the goodness that comes with men.
And I think, too, there's women out there searching for the type of man that you are describing, the good kind of man, and men in general have been getting hammered so hard by that movement that you were talking about that makes it their sole purpose to just drive them down, that men are shutting down and withdrawing. And now those women that are out there looking for good men are going, where are all the men? Where are the good guys?
And they're less masculine.
Yeah,
men have chosen to be less masculine.
Frustrated by this. And it's just an all-around self-fulfilling prophecy.
Don't. Also, they didn't interview, as far as I know, one woman who'd ever been mauled by a bear. So I think that would change the results.
Can we go to Sally here, who lost her life to a bear? No, because she's dead.
No, yeah, that's right. Most of them are not going to be able to answer that question. Plus, if they see me walking up, they're going to be like, dang, that dude is masculine. And they're going to be like, I can't answer the question with that guy around.
And a bear.
Because
he's
clearly,
asking about a picnic basket.
You know what they need to do? Have somebody like me ask the questions and then have a bear ask the questions and see if that affects the results. I'm about the science.
Can we get our hands on a bear costume? I just need to know.
Probably.
If they find out a masculine man is inside the bear costume, though, the results are going to be all over the place. It's going to skew it all over. I wouldn't trust that poll,
What
Annie.
if it's a masculine woman?
Well, then they're going to have to consider that in the thing too, because there's too many variables in this.
This would be
scientific
a great
study.
man on the street video.
It's Ryan Wiggins and a bear. What would you rather be with? You don't want to do that.
And I'm dressed like Bugs Bunny when he's dressing like a girl.
Well, I got a moose
Bat in
costume
my
in the
eyes.
drawer in there right now. It's pretty close. We're on a low budget. Get Thomas Helbig back in here and see if he'll sponsor that. I don't know how to tie it into retirement, but I'm willing to try.
Yeah, let's do that.
I love how you're talking about decaying masculinity today.
The whole thread of the show has been me walking with like super curvy hips. And I'm like, let's talk about masculinity for a second now.
It's a damn shame.
It's a damn shame. It's a damn shame. Damn it.
Yeah, it's time for the
Am I
music.
going to get in trouble? I don't know.
Maybe
Never
with
tried that one
your
before.
wife.
Yeah.
That's enough of that.
Yeah.
Maybe. We'll see. We want to know from you. I should have made that the poll question. Maybe it'll be the poll question tomorrow. Would you rather be stuck in a forest with a man or a bear? My takeaway here is a man every day. If those are all the options, I want a man to help me through, and I would absolutely rely on the man for the man things that men do. It could depend on the man, though.
Would you rely on me for your man things? That's tomorrow's question.
Is Ryan a man? We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Air Comfort Service, you find them online at aircomfortservice.com. Right now, you can enjoy up to $4,200 with double carrier cool cash rebates on qualifying systems. If you've realized the AC is not going to cut it this summer, call Air Comfort Service and get to the bottom of the problem right now. 314-513-0091. 314-513-0091. They are the best. They know how to handle your home, whether you have one unit in your house. Some people have multiple units in their house. They have solutions for you. They have quality products to help solve your problems. But being able to save on whatever it is that you end up having to do, because usually this is an obligation, right? It's not like, oh, you know what? Honey, I think we'd like to upgrade the air conditioning unit. Like, it's just something you want to do. That doesn't happen. They have ways to make it much more affordable, and these double carrier cool cash rebates absolutely are one of the best ways to do it. You can also qualify for 0% financing up to 72 months, which is pretty fantastic as well. Call them at 314-513-0091, 314-513-0091. Tell them Annie sent you. You find them online at aircomfortservice.com.
Did you know you can stream Fox News Radio on the free Odyssey app? Just download the free Odyssey app and search for Fox News Radio to hear the voices you trust. Brian Kilmeade.
Why are we so scared of Iran thinking that we're at war with them?
Guy Benson.
Get the bleep out of here. It's disgusting.
Jimmy Fallon.
Then this administration rolled into town with a checkbook.
Are all on the free Odyssey app. From the news and talk to keep you informed and up to date during election season. Listen to Fox News Radio on the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY.
More good news for Frederick Roofing, voted best roofing company by the St. Louis Post-Dispatch.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing.
314-645-2000.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been injured in a truck accident, you need the best. Onder Law. Let us make your case our cause. Truck accident? Call Onder Law for a free review at 314 or 618-9000000.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Get in your comfort zone with double Carrier Cool Cash rebates up to $4,200 and 0% financing up to 72 months on a new HVAC system. For details and a free estimate, visit aircomfortservice.com.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk is online, and you can stream it on your phone anytime.
Oh, yeah.
Just download the Odyssey app, and 97.1 is one button away.
Oh, yeah.
97.1 FM Talk. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. I'm going to be thinking about that bear conversation for a while.
We all are. It's not one that leaves you quick.
Well, I'm saying off the air, if you put 100 postmodern feminist women, whatever that looks like to you.
We could go anywhere from this premise.
I actually don't want you to describe that on the air. If you put 100 women and you had 100 bears and 100 men, the women are there. This is a reality show.
It's like Squid Game.
I don't know. 100 men in a cage and 100 bears in a cage.
Mm-hmm.
And you got the women in line, and they had to go pick man or bear. 100 out of 100 of them would pick man. Even the last woman who got the last man picked would be like, I guess I'm going with that dude.
And like the little cuddly bear.
Yeah.
I still take the guy. It depends on who is in office. Is Biden in office or is Trump in office?
It doesn't matter because they're in the woods.
Because if they're in the woods and Biden's in office, they'd pick the guys. If they're in the woods and Trump's in office, they'd point at the men and the bears in cages and say Trump's fault.
And then they'd have to pick man or bear.
And then they'd have to pick.
That was a long journey there, sir.
There you go. You can cut that and use that as a video, Brad.
Am I wrong? Is there a single human being on the planet that picks the bear over the skeeziest looking dude in the world?
No, and Bill Burr made this point too. He said if you put any of these postmodern feminists on the Titanic and the ship was going down, they'd be the first ones twisting their hairs into little pigtails. They'd be like, I'm just a girl. Let me on the boat first.
Yeah. Ryan?
I'd pick that skeezy dude right away because that dude probably knows some things that I don't know about the woods. And I'm going to need some help because we're stranded.
That guy looks like he's got some ingenuity in him.
Yeah.
The skeezy dude does not.
No?
No, the skeezy dude is going to think you're going to help him.
That's right. But you know
You've
what?
Clearly never had to select quality men out
Is
of
it
the
a
crowd.
skeezy city guy or is it a skeezy woods guy?
I said, I'm looking for the guy in the mossy oak hat and the boots.
Yeah.
You.
With the skull ring in the back pocket.
With me. I don't know about that. That guy has habits that he either doesn't want to break or can't break.
If I'm in one of the cages and being picked, I would say I'm probably one of the last picked.
No, you're not.
No?
No.
I mean, I don't look threatening.
No, you're
but I also am not threatening to a bear.
You're upper mid.
Okay, I can take mid.
You're take this the right way.
Yeah.
Complete and total lack of
You're mid.
threatening No, I said upper mid.
Upper mid.
Your complete and total lack of threatening presentation is attractive in that situation because you do not pose a threat to said female. It's a trick because you're going to want to look for, if as a female, look for the man who's going to be strong, who's going to be able to fight off predators. You're going to want to be able to look for a man who looks resourceful, the man who would be willing to protect you, the man who you look at and just generally think, I'm going to have to rely on this guy for my life. He's going to have to rely on me for his. That could also be a precarious situation for a woman.
I tell you what takes me from upper mid to lower mid, though. It's the minute the
Beat
woman...
that for the record. This is on you.
Yeah.
Okay.
The minute the woman starts to walk in my direction, I start in with the eyebrows.
Oh, I thought it was the hips.
Oh, no, not the hips. No, at this point, I'm trying to convince her that I'm manly.
With your eyebrows?
With my eyebrows. But no, but it's involuntary.
No.
It's involuntary. It just starts happening. Like, they walk up, my eyebrows start going.
That's so terrifying. Bear! Bear!
Yeah.
Bear!
Yeah, and then they go right to that little cub.
I'm just getting in the cage. Just put me in there and get it over with.
Yeah. If you're not watching, you missed out on the eyebrows. But you can picture it. They're going up and down real fast. It's like Quagmire. Hey.
Remember when I said that you were unassuming and non-threatening?
That's why I dropped.
Dramatically.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey.
The guy who's like thinking, well, obviously, if it's the two of us, I have to seduce her.
Yeah.
That is what has TikTok women saying bear. That
Uh-huh.
alone. And that's not the way a man would be. That's the way a creep would be. Sorry.
Well, look, look, I'm not going to do anything mean or wrong to the woman. It's that's like I said, it's involuntary. A woman's walking up. I'm just going, hey, hey. That's just what happens. That's why I lose so many jobs. That's why you're a saint. Okay. Stop. I'm actually walking into dangerous territory. We were just kicked off of Twitch.
Did you call me a saint?
Yeah.
Mark that down. Want to talk about grandparents?
That's what I figured we'd talk about next. So.
Obviously, there's only one way. Parade magazine has 11 things a child psychologist is begging parents and grandparents to stop doing. Ryan has 3 kids. I have 4 kids. And Brad is a youth pastor and spends a lot of time around kids and probably has a very objective viewpoint on what parents and grandparents are doing for and to their children. The first one is using screen time as a babysitter.
I'm going to have to agree.
What about
locking it in?
What about grandparents using it in a way that parents don't use at home?
Yeah, we've had to establish rules, and it's just the way it is. Because it's not just there, but it's everywhere. I mean, it's like you take them to church. Everywhere you go, school, they are going to use screens as a babysitter at some point or another. We're going to do it at some point or another. It's just a matter of how much. And so you almost have to, everywhere you go, establish, like, these are the rules.
For the most part, if it's at grandma and grandpa's house, it's at grandma and grandpa's house. I need them to like going over there, and I need my children's grandparents to like their grandkids. Go watch Bluey.
Well, they already love going to grandma and grandpa's because sloppy joes, French fries, usually sherbet, which is all great.
Also, the warm embrace of a grandmother and grandfather who loves them dearly.
That too.
Sloppy joes.
Sloppy joes, wiffle ball.
The screen time thing, I definitely have evolved over, I guess, about 12 years from my son to my 2-year-old now, who's almost 3. But we use screens more than I would like, especially with my youngest. But they're also, it is not possible to be everywhere. I have 4 kids. I can't physically do all of it all of the time, but I could be better at it. You have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I don't think that no screen time is the answer. I think that's
not realistic.
No, it's not realistic, but it can't be the babysitter, if that makes sense. You can't be like, oh man, my kid is frustrating me right now. Here, just take the iPad and go watch a video. It can't, you know what I'm saying? You have to engage with your kid, and you got to find other things and teach them how to basically entertain themselves.
The other thing that I have realized too is that when you take screens away, but toys are still prevalent, the imagination starts coming out in no time.
Yeah,
it's just the TV or the iPad or whatever that gets stuck in there makes it so they don't have to do any of that stuff.
And we use it as a
still
reward
know how to play
a lot too.
The second one is talking too much. Licensed child psychologist Dr. Caroline Danda says that not everything has to be a life lesson. Instead, she advises not talking so much. Lean in, get curious, and listen instead. When providing feedback, get curious about the child's perspective, particularly with adolescents. Feeling seen and heard goes a long way towards fostering healthy discussion and maintaining a positive relationship, even when there are consequences involved. I don't know if this is another one of the bullets on here, but talking too much is at the same time for me doing too much. And the idea that everything has to have great meaning and purpose and exposure is friggin' exhausting and ridiculous. Like the idea of doting on your kids so much that every single thing they ever do that is an accomplishment has to be celebrated in a specific way is oppressive to a parent like me. I don't know if everyone else feels this way, but also trying to take every single opportunity to talk them through the life lesson involved. Like they're saying, like sometimes you need to just see if they learn it on their own without having to have a session about it.
Yeah, and I need to take that lesson too. And one of the ways I would apply that, I don't know if this is exactly what I'm supposed to take from that, is not scold, but just not be kind of the same level of disappointed or angry when something doesn't go right all the time. Because some things are just so minor that it's like, just tell them to fix it, you know, instead of being like, okay, what did we learn here?
Yeah.
I don't even know if that's even always has to apply to like whenever something's gone wrong or something like that. Just if your kid is wanting to tell you a story, listen to the story. You know, don't try to make anything out of it. Don't try to do anything. They just tell you the story and look at them and they're like, I get to tell mom or dad a story. I get to tell grandma and grandpa a story. Even whenever you're like, where are you going with this? Oh, this is one of those stories that doesn't have a point at the end.
I'll just ask questions.
Yeah, just, wow.
And then what happened?
Yeah.
Why was it green? Just stuff like that if you got the time. The next one is failing to model respectful relationships. Children learn how to interact with others by watching the adults around them, and sometimes unresolved conflicts can play out in front of the children or grandchildren. It is important to demonstrate healthy, respectful relationships, including how to deal with conflicts constructively, which sets a positive example for children. 2 examples. In my house, my husband is much better at this than I am. If I get frustrated or if we're trying to do a bunch of things, like if I'm short with him, I don't want my kids to see that and feel like they have license to be short with him. I need to be better at that. I think that's probably something a lot of women struggle with because you're just trying to juggle so many things at one time and you forget all of the good things that are being done by that other person helping you get through everything. But also not internal familial relationships, but external relationships. If you've ever been really screwed over by somebody and the kid knows the parties that were involved in that, I think it's really important to model for your children or to directly communicate to your children, like, yeah, well, there's a real problem here. There was a real breakdown here, but that's mom and dad's problem. That's not your problem. And you don't get to bear the weight or responsibility of holding on to that problem. It's not yours. It's ours, and we will handle it for you because kids will pull that down on themselves. They will burden themselves with that. And if there's ever some sort of like transitory anger or judgment that comes from them towards somebody else, then you're being a bad parent by not correcting that.
That's not where I thought you were going with that, but that's a really good point. I thought you were going to talk about, modeling forgiveness, but the fact that kids will hear, oh, you had a problem with that person, and then they'll take on the anger or whatever, they'll sort of take that on.
Yeah, like
is very true.
Like maybe a family friend that you have a falling out with some family friends for whatever particular reason. And, for the sake of this conversation, maybe you were completely in the right and they did something that was completely in the wrong. And then maybe those kids know some of the kids in the other family. Like, it's not their problem.
Yeah.
This is a grown-up problem. If you've had a job loss where there have been people who were absolutely horrible and your kids know about that because it affects the family. It's not the kid's problem to bear. It's not their burden to bear. The kids that are involved are not the people who are involved. It lies squarely on the people who are in that situation. And teaching children to own their own problems but not absorb everybody else's problems, which I think is what we're seeing a lot right now in culture, I think that's a really important lesson. And the forgiveness thing.
That too. No, that's a good point, though.
Number 4, assuming that feelings aren't a big deal. Maybe you tend to think the children are nothing but feelings, which means that their feelings, when expressed, aren't all that unique or special. But the doc says, stop assuming children's feelings aren't a big deal, trying to dismiss them or fix them too quickly. I read this, I've talked about this before, and I've even had people write back to me and be like, this was a game changer when I talked about this on the air. And I read it, which is why I talk about it on the air, in a parenting email when Charlie was born. And they'd give you one like, Charlie is 6 months old. Charlie is 2 years old. And it goes through weekly, monthly, whatever. And it was about 18 months or so. And it was like, your child is having all of the emotions that you have. Nobody has taught them yet how to handle those emotions in a society the way grown-ups do. And it's took you your whole life to get to where you are to handle those emotions. If you as a grown person are eating an ice cream cone and the ice cream falls off onto the ground, you have sadness, frustration for the person who bumped into you, maybe anger because it's the next thing that happened that was bad that day. Those are all valid feelings, but as a grown person and not throw a screaming fit, to go, okay, well, how do I solve this problem or what do I do next? It is the responsibility of the parent to understand those feelings exist and to not diminish those feelings, but to teach them how to handle those feelings and funnel them into being a person in a society that functions.
That's all true, and there's a balance there that we can't be teaching kids that their feelings are the truth, capital T. Like, there is a truth greater than just the way you feel in this moment at times, too. And there absolutely has to be a balance between those two things, because if you go too far in one direction, you're going to kind of get off kilter.
Well, and I don't think that I feel like feelings and truth are completely separate entities. Like, I don't even think that they've been told now to confuse them, which is, I think, what your point is. But the idea that you could be really raging angry about something, that you disagree with something that is true, and your anger about that. Like, for me, I'm very pro-life. I live in the state of Illinois, and I'm outraged at what Illinois is doing. But I can't just be rage. My anger and rage does not justify anything I do because I feel this way. I have to acknowledge what is true and then find out productive ways to push back on that in a civilized society.
What's interesting about this is, too, because we talked about this whenever I was in school for youth ministry, that whenever you look at a situation and a kid is like really worked up about a situation, you're going at it and you're going, that's not that big of a deal. But to that kid, that might be the biggest deal in their life at that moment. They lack the perspective on life that you have. You understand in the scheme of things, this really isn't a big deal, but that doesn't mean that for them, it isn't the biggest deal that they are currently facing right then and there, and then you need to approach it in such a way, and then you can gently ease in that perspective and how can we work through this. And a lot of times what they're looking for is a solution. They're just not looking to be angry. They want a solution to fix the whatever it is that's going on in their life. So yeah, definitely give it credence.
Number 5, yelling and giving negative comments. Past generations may have been parented with a focus on negative behaviors and a tendency to yell in order to get a child's attention. However, regularly raising your voice can create an environment of fear and anxiety, leading to issues with stress management, self-esteem, and communication. My kids, I kind of have 2 modes with my kids, and I have, like, I've said this before, I hate when you're talking to children and you're like, I'm going to count to 3. Because I tell my kids, you don't get 3 seconds to consider doing what I'm telling you to do. I'm your mother. You do it. And, there's patience that goes along with that, and that varies based on the age that the child is at the time. But this isn't a negotiation. I'm your parent. I'm your provider. I am the person who is your protector. You do what I say. And for my kids, I have patience for a bad day. I've told my children that, listen, if you're just in a bad mood and you don't even really 100% know that why you're in a bad mood, tell me. I'll give you space to move out of that mood, but you don't disrespect me while you're doing it. You can't tell you come back and talk back to me or fight with me or whatever. I will lower my expectation of your cheery disposition if you, for whatever reason, felt like you got out of bed on the wrong side this morning. But you can't disrespect me in it. And so I am as patient as I possibly can be until there's disrespect, and then it's time to bring the heat.
Yeah, I got to remember this at times. It's really just remembering overall, if I constantly am escalating things to a level that is high, then everything has to be at that level to be heard. And so you almost have to keep it lower so that when you need it, you can take it up.
Yeah, you've got to give yourself some place to go.
Yeah.
The like you were saying, the yelling. There's some times where you need to yell and be like, "Hey," because the danger is immediate, and what you want your kid to go, "I've not heard that before. Something's really up," and they stop and they turn or they do whatever and they obey immediately. But you can't constantly be screaming at your kid to do something because, like Ryan just said, when everything is 100%, then that's the only thing that they hear, and that's the only way things get done, and it creates a really chaotic situation for that child.
I've got a few more of these habits and for parents and grandparents to break, according to child psychologist in Parade Magazine. We'll talk about that when we wrap it up, along with the results of today's YouTube live chat poll. What will be the 2024 election-dominating issue? Is it the economy, foreign policy, abortion, or corruption? Go to the Annie Fry YouTube channel. Subscribe while you're there. We're real close to 7,000. Would you be part of our 7,000 subscribers on YouTube? We'd love to have you there. I'll give you the final bullet points in this list when we come back.
The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
STS-armory.com. If you're shopping for firearms, ammunition, safe, secure boxes, accessories, all of that. At STS Armory, they are ready and willing to visit with you, to get to know you, to help you make your purchase. If you are somebody, and I've sent these people to STS Armory who know nothing, like starting from square one when it comes to owning and operating a firearm in the state of Illinois, they go to STS Armory. They'll help you set up your FOID card. If you're looking to get a conceal and carry license, you can do that whole qualifying process with Katie and Jesse at STS Armory. They have amazing educational courses for you, whether you're a beginner or you are advanced. and they can help you navigate that kind of murky situation that is in state of Illinois when it comes to your Second Amendment rights. People trust them. Law enforcement shops there. We have a lot of veterans that shop there. I shop there. My family shops there. And I encourage you to check out STS Armory as well for anything that you need from a firearm standpoint. Great Mother's Day gift. Get them a conceal and carry class or maybe a basics training course. You can find them online at sts-armory.com.
At Lakeside Renovation and Design, our secret sauce isn't just the tools we use or the materials we choose. It's our people. We're not just builders. We're local craftsmen, highly skilled in our trades. Our team takes immense pride in transforming homeowners' visions into reality. We're not just in the business of remodeling. We're in the business of making homes more beautiful, comfortable, and valuable. What sets us apart? Integrity and honesty. Our craftsmen exceed expectations because we care. Lakeside, where every nail, every cut, every detail is a testament to our commitment to you.
If you have a problem with the IRS, believe me, it's not going away on its own. The IRS never gives up. They have endless resources, so they control the game. Well, your tax problems can end. I'm attorney Lance Drury with the Drury Law Firm, a local tax resolution firm with an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau. I've handled thousands of IRS cases over the last 15 years. So when you hire me, you won't be speaking long distance or sending money to some TV pitchman that's riddled with consumer complaints. Your first visit is completely free and confidential, and I'll tell you on the spot exactly how much it will cost. So call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120. Or go to Lance, D-R-U-R-Y, law.com. If you have IRS issues, you need a local attorney, you need me, Lance Drury.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
Vote in the Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll of the day. What will be the 2024 election dominating issue? And we'll give you the results of that poll in just a minute. It's 2:50. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Good Monday afternoon. There is talk of a ceasefire in Gaza from Hamas, but yet there was a ceasefire on October 6th, if I remember correctly. We'll talk about it. We got Dan McLaughlin from National Review coming up at 3:25 as well.
Miles outside Chicago, can't stop driving, I don't know why, so many questions.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. We were talking, before we wrap up on the YouTube poll, which you need to go vote in here real quick, what will be the 2024 election dominating issue, the economy, foreign policy, abortion, or corruption? I'm going to breeze through these this is recommendations from a child psychologist, habits that parents and grandparents should stop doing. And we've gone through several, and I kind of feel there's portions of all of these that I could do better at. I'm not really feeling like a superstar based on this.
Yeah, I agree. You could probably do better at some of these.
Yeah. With you?
No.
With my children?
Yeah.
Right. It's like that yelling one. Maybe.
Yeah. Let's see here. Number 6, micromanaging. I definitely am a micromanager. Not so much with my kids. I'm big on delegating, and the hard thing with micromanaging is allowing your kids to do it to the best of their abilities, which is not usually to the best of your particulars.
Right.
That's hard.
Do you delegate to your kids? Are younger than mine.
We do delegate, but it's so inconsistent. We have a list of things that we want them to do, but we don't really have good accountability for those things. And maybe this is your issue too. We're so busy that it's like, oh, we can't say, oh, on Tuesdays you do this because every week we have so much going on.
Do you two allow them to make an art project that just sucks?
Oh yeah, all the time. All
the
time.
Yeah, you're like, oh, it'd be cute
like,
if
wow.
you do this or if you do that. And it's like, no, you just got to let them.
Yeah.
And then they become endearing in their own right. Number 7, using guilt as a motivator. The doc says trying to control behavior through guilt can lead to feelings of worthlessness and an unhealthy desire to please others at the expense of one's own need that can affect the child for a lifetime. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. And depending on the kid too, because my daughter's very prone to this. We almost have to overwatch doing that with her. Whereas my boys they'll brush it off pretty quick.
Yeah, I don't feel like I try very hard not to do that. Certainly not batting 1,000 in that department, but letting your kids succeed and fail and making sure that they are their successes, not mine, and they are their failures, not mine. And I'm here to guide you through that so that you can overcome and not to get too high on the successes and so on and so forth. Number 8, getting distracted by technology. Having your phone out, checking your email, checking Twitter, checking your social media, sending text, whatever, when your kids are trying to talk to you. This is the one where I told the story about Molly the other day. She wanted me to... Was I watching Fox News? What was I watching?
Yeah, you were watching Fox News. Chicken Mom.
Yeah. She wanted me... She's like, you're a chicken. And I'm like, I'm not a chicken. She's like, cluck like a chicken. So I was watching... I think I was watching Jesse Waters, and I was just like, bok, 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 bok. She was happy.
That did it.
I could only do it for so long, though.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not a chicken anymore, and I need to watch Jesse Waters.
Well, she didn't say do this for 20 minutes.
No, she just
said,
repeatedly said do it for 20 minutes. Do you get distracted by technology in front of your kids?
Especially on weeknights, because I want to just veg after work. And it's easy to do that on a screen. When they're talking to you, I try to make sure I'm paying attention.
I have to physically look them in the eyes
Yeah.
so that I don't get distracted by other things going on in the room. Number 9, lack of consistent rules and boundaries. Fudging the rules.
I mean, this always happens a little bit, but as long as you're mostly consistent, they'll get it.
You know, this is parents and grandparents, and I think that there are some specific rules that we have told, like, we don't let our kids drink soda. But if they go to the grandparents' house and grandma and grandpa know that we don't let them have soda. But they also know that grandma and grandpa can let them have a soda, which means, yes, you can have one. It's a treat. Even like sometimes nudge, nudge, don't tell your mom and dad.
Mm-hmm.
But they also know that they shouldn't be there drinking soda all day. So I want grandma and grandpa to be like Christmas morning when you go over there and let them be able to have that. Number 10, using the word perfect. Says that people often respond to positive outcomes with the word perfect without realizing that it enforces the idea of perfection is achieved and expected.
I don't really say that.
I don't either.
So, no. Dumb article.
My kids have varying degrees of seeking out perfection, and we do have to, with one of them, I have to tell them, like, it's okay to fail.
Yeah.
11, comparing siblings or cousins. Don't do it.
Yeah.
We don't really have that problem. We don't have a whole lot of cousins, so.
Siblings?
We have siblings to each other, but they're so different. The twin thing could have been a big issue, but they're so different, and they have such different interests.
You're comparing them right now.
Well, I'm contrasting them.
The YouTube live chat poll, what will be the 2024 election dominating issue? The economy, foreign policy, abortion, or corruption? Ryan, you said?
Economy.
Brad?
Economy.
I said economy. 68% of you, with almost 250 votes, said economy. Abortion came in second place at 23%.
They're going to try.
That's the effort. It won't be because that's what people are cared about. That's what the top-down election situation looks like. 5% said foreign policy. 4% said corruption. So a resounding 68% believe the economy is the driving force. And if that's the case, we might be looking at the second term of Donald J. Trump. Stick around, Mark Reardon, coming up next. Don't go away.
The band fine, the whole gonna lose control tonight. What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Surprise!
Surprise!
You know, surprise parties, they can be fun, right? Well, financial surprises, not so much, especially when you're retired, like finding out you owe more in taxes than you thought you would, or having to go back to work to make ends meet. Maybe you think you'll be okay, but why not double check just to be sure? Call Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions and schedule a retirement double check. Marvin and his team have been helping families plan for retirement for more than 15 years. Call 314-373-1598 to schedule your retirement double check with Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions. That's 314-373-1598. Don't let a financial surprise derail your retirement dreams. Give Marvin and the team a call, 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and in Illinois.
If you have rental properties, I do, you'll find that they become vacant every now and then. Whether you have one or you have 100, you're going to have vacancies. And in those vacancies, you're going to need stuff done to that house. You can do it yourself. I know so many people do that. But you could also hire somebody who's going to give you a great price on getting all that stuff done, from painting, flooring, light fixtures, bathroom updates, kitchen updates. Switch the letters. There we go. whatever it is you need, Rapid Rental Renovations can take care of it. You know what? If there is such a thing as chicken updates, they probably do it, because they literally do everything and they give you great bids. You go to murphycleanoutservices.com. That's their primary website, but there's so many things that they do that you can see it all there. You can get quote requests. You can text them pictures of your rental and say, this is kind of what I'm thinking, but you have to think it through. Just text them a picture and go, come over and give me a bid. Go to murphycleanoutservices.com.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features.